All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chang Gang podcast. This is episode 55 featuring Giles, aka MrGeelz. Giles, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for dedicating time for this. We're going to learn a lot about you. How are you feeling today?
Feeling great. Just happy to be on here and amazing to finally get to talk one-on-one with the famous Wilson Chang right here.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. On the bottom right, you're going to see our Instagram handles. We're going to talk about this later because I know you have two Instagram accounts, but feel free to drop a follow if you haven't already. There's also two commands for this podcast in every podcast we do. The first one is exclamation podcast. In short, it explains why I do these podcasts, and it's because I want to learn more about my friends and their life experiences, to that personal level, personal degree. So in this case, we're going to be learning about Giles' past, and we're just going to explore his mind, in a sense. And secondly, we have exclamation guest, which is a direct link to his Twitch channel. Feel free to follow him. He's actually streaming now, so that'd be perfect for you guys to be introduced to him. All right, you ready for this?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, we begin. First off, give us a brief introduction about yourself and include some of your hobbies and interests.
Sounds good. So, hey guys, what's up? My name is Geelz, or sorry, MrGeelz, or Giles. You call me Geelz. Some people call me Gills, Gillies, pretty much whatever. Over Twitch, YouTube, Valorant, anything. But yeah, I'm a variety streamer from the Pacific Northwest, more specifically Seattle area. And I've been doing this for about 3 years. Love it. And yeah, it's like I do this for fun. I do basically anything and everything. I have no more shame after doing this for after doing this for the past 3 years. Just kind of over here chilling, vibing, doing whatever. And yeah, as for hobbies and stuff, uh, honestly, going out on little adventures on my own, talking with friends, playing video games, obviously, because I am on Twitch. Music has always been a very big passion of mine, and just really hanging out and chilling, getting to know people. Those are my biggest things that I love to do in my spare time other than work.
All right, I love that. So, other than that, how would you describe your own personality?
The way I would describe my own personality is that I'm super shy at first. Like there are times where I will be afraid to either talk to people that I just meet or talk in chats of people that my friends raid or that I'm new to, and that's mainly because of a lot of things that happened when I was younger. It's
Oh,
really just
okay.
a matter of just being shy, wanting to get like I wouldn't say wanting approval from people first, but I would more off say that it's mainly because I want to get to know everybody or people in the chat before I get to talking more and more and more, you know?
hmm
And yeah, that's pretty much why, yeah.
Okay, personality. So, on a spectrum of between like an introvert and extrovert, where would you place yourself? Saying like intro is like a 1 and
Mhm.
extrovert a 10.
I would say, I mean, the funny thing, I know that people will disagree with me on this a lot
hmm
because to my friends, I am an extreme extrovert. Personally, when I first meet someone, I'm a 1, but once I get to know you, I'm a 10. So I would say I'm more of an ambivert, so around
Yeah.
a 5 or 6. Just because I like to keep things to myself, but at the same time, I love just chilling with people, getting to know people, playing with people, and just vibing. So around says 5 or 6 would that's what I would say I am.
All right, sounds good. So from this point on, we're gonna get an overview about your entire life, starting from your childhood or your earliest memories. So give us your thoughts and explain what you went through since you were born, and then I'll ask you specific questions from there.
So just explain what I've been through.
Yeah, like how you would
Okay.
describe your childhood, maybe until like the end of high school, and then I'll ask you specific questions.
All right. So, it started on a cold winter rainy night. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
I was I was born in downtown Seattle, 1993. I am 28. I look a lot younger than I actually am, but Yeah, I had a pretty normal, as my dad would say, privileged childhood. Childhood. I grew up in a kind of a rich-ish area. But the funny thing is that even though I was in a rich-ish area, I was still one of like the more low-income families in that area. So I wouldn't get made fun of, but it was just weird not seeing people the same skin tone as me. Like in my elementary and middle school, I was one of like probably like two or three families that were actually not white,
Mhm.
and like there's nothing wrong with that. It just allowed me, or it just didn't allow me to really dive into my culture as much as or dive into my Filipino culture as much as I thought I would need to growing up. Um, Growing up, I played a lot of sports. So my first love was baseball, and I always it's funny, as a kid, I always dreamed about like buying my dad his dream car, buying my mom her own personal house for some strange reason, and just like taking care of them, walking out of the tunnel. My first like MLB rookie game.
Mhm.
Obviously, they didn't pan out for me, but I and that's mainly because like I just found new hobbies and found new interests. That plus I kind of tore up my knees, but it is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I grew up playing sports. Grew up doing a lot of martial arts. I've actually going on 18 years at this point for various types of martial arts. And yeah, high school was a trip, but we don't talk about that because high school was depending on who you ask, either the best times of your life or the worst times of your life. So yeah.
Huh. Okay, okay, no problem. So, talk about your relationship with your parents and if you have any siblings from before versus now.
Growing up, I was a mama's boy. I will admit that. And that's mainly because who isn't? I mean, your mom literally gave birth to you, so of course you're gonna be closer with her as a baby and as a baby and as a toddler. Um, as time went on, I would learn a lot more things from my dad, and I would go on to be coached by him in baseball and basketball. He would be my main sensei in karate and other various forms of martial arts that I have done. And yeah, like over time, quite honestly, things have been kind of rocky. Um, in a segment we'll probably talk about, in something we'll probably talk about later, because this is much after high school.
Okay.
Um, there was a situation that caused me to kind of fracture my relationship with my parents quite a bit.
Mhm.
And yeah, like we're on speaking terms, but we're not on the best terms. Don't get me wrong. I'll still do anything for them. I still love them, but it's like things definitely weren't the same as they were growing up. Because the whole family dynamic my family has is constant chaos, constant yelling. But at the end of the day, we love each other, and that's pretty much all you could ask for in a family, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how would you describe like the discipline style from your parents when you're younger? Disciplinary, yeah.
Um. Wow, that's gonna take a long time. No kidding. My dad's best weapon was disappointment. He has one of those like real I wouldn't say like rags to riches, but rags to successes stories that you hear all the time, where people come here literally with nothing, and then they come up to being somebody that almost everybody like wants to be in a way. Because that's how everyone would describe my dad. And if you disappoint him, that means you really messed up. And same thing with my mom. Like, she had a really or like a real big rag to success story, and um, yeah, she disappointment from them was like their biggest weapon, because if that happened, you really like like dropped the ball and you didn't want to do that. Other than that, though, I mean, as many other Asians would or sorry, many other minorities would say, we got
Mhm.
spanked as kids, we got hit when we got in trouble. And those really weren't my best moments, but I did learn a lot of do's and don'ts from those moments of being punished and being grounded, being spanked, being hit. But yeah, I just I learned a lot from those things. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so you briefly mentioned how you were like a minority when you were younger, right? So how would
Mhm.
you describe the diversity and background of the place you live in? So Seattle.
I'm actually a little like 20 minutes north of Seattle,
Hmm.
and the thing about Seattle is the more north you go, the the less diverse it is.
Okay.
And I'm in a part where it's not really diverse like at all. There is a lot of white people. There's a lot of Korean families that live here, but mostly I went to schools that were mostly white. So I didn't really get a chance to really celebrate my culture or celebrate anything that wasn't white or Korean or Chinese outside of the like activity or outside of the functions that my dad or parents would bring me to as a kid, which was basically I guess the yearly festival that they hold in downtown Seattle, as well as the there's another yearly festival as well in South Seattle. And yeah, I just didn't know anything about it growing up, so I just thought that Filipinos were the small like tight knit community, and that was pretty much it.
Hmm.
um, as I learned, or as I learned a lot later, um, really wasn't the case because we are actually like one of the bigger Asian populations in the nation. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So from here, we're gonna transition to school, like more school focused.
Okay.
Your life in school, right? How did you perform academically throughout your entire education?
I didn't do the best. Um, I tried my best at times, and when I did try my best, I did pretty well. But there were times where I just kind of gave up
Hmm.
because I didn't think that I would ever amount to much, to be honest. Like it's weird that I've always had like a very like I wouldn't say big, but okay, yeah, massive self-confidence issue when it came to working and all that fun stuff. Um, Came back to really bite me in the butt, but yeah, like now that I know what I can do, I'm really trying to strive for it. Didn't get straight A's. Always got a mix of like A's, B's, and C's throughout high school, and even in college. When I would set my mind to something, I would get it done and do everything I needed to. Um, but yeah, when it came to stuff that I was really passionate about, then that's when I would like really put my nose to the grindstone and really work my ass off at it. But when I saw something that, or when I was doing something that I didn't take much stock in, then I wouldn't really try that hard at it, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I knew my worth. I knew I kind of knew what I would be able to do, and yeah.
Okay, so you talked about sports, like
Hmm.
what you were involved with. Let's talk
Hmm.
about baseball for a while, since that was like the big thing, right? How
Hmm.
did you get into it, and what was your overall experience like? And then from there, if you fell like out of it, how did that happen?
Um, so baseball, it started. The story my dad likes to tell is that it started when I was like 2 or 3,
Hmm.
and he would just like give me random balls to throw, and yeah, that's basically just from when I was 3. That's when I really fell in love with the sport. I was a pitcher, first baseman slash catcher slash every single position that it came to be, but yeah, it really just helped me it helped me build my self-confidence, and that's why I fell in love with it a little bit. And I didn't really amount to it much really. I made it to like my freshman team in high school. I kind of dropped it for martial arts, but a few years later I picked it up again when I was in when I saw an open tryout happening for a minor league affiliate for a team, I went. I actually got in. They offered me a minor league deal, but the thing was they wanted me to sign for even less than what I would be making as the current job that I have right now is
Yep.
paying me, and I would have to basically pick up, move all my shit, and do all that stuff. It's just to jump through all those hoops just for like a non, uh, what was it? Non guaranteed
Yeah.
spot at a major league roster. So that's why I didn't go through with going through the minor leagues, even though it was always a dream of mine.
Dang.
hmm
Let's
Um,
see.
yeah, I did fall in love with martial arts though. That's the thing that really kept me away from it. Kept me away. Kept me away from baseball. So yeah.
Okay. Do you want to just transition to your martial arts experience too?
Yeah, sure. I'm
Okay.
down. So I started because my dad kind of forced me to. I started when I was 10, and he basically did that because one of his favorite things to do when like during like weekends as a kid, since I didn't really do anything outside of the house, was watch Bruce Lee films. And
hmm
he kind of told me about his history, and like we watched a bunch of different karate movies, like The Karate Kid, a bunch of Bruce Lee, a bunch of Jackie Chan, a bunch of like Jet Li, all those like famous martial arts actors. It eventually led us
Nice.
to joining into a traditional Japanese martial art called Shitoru, which is a, if you've ever seen the movie The Karate Kid, like the original one, um, their martial arts style is actually called Gojuru, and it's a mashup between that and Itosu, which is another traditional Japanese martial art. And yeah, I did that for 10 years. Then my school actually branched off into another art to where our head sensei, our Shihan, actually got invited to join another organization. So we followed her into Itosuru, which is again one of the branches from Shitoru. Then after 3 years of that, I kind of stopped going, mainly because I was starting to lose interest because there was like very little way for me to move up anymore unless I wanted to really go for my third, fourth, or fifth degree black belt. And that would take another 2, 3 years per belt. So I didn't find a lot of time or a lot of stock in trying to go for those things. So I actually transitioned to Filipino martial arts, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. My dad is actually he's trying to get his grandmaster certification for Silat, and yeah, I've been doing Filipino martial arts for the past 5 years. I have a teaching certification in it, and it's really cool just to see. Just I've learned a lot about my roots and my history, and just the amazing like um, beauty of of the different arts around the different islands of the Philippines as well as Southeast Asia. So Silat is from Indonesia, but a lot of people do it from the Philippines as well. And yeah, so 3 black belts, a teaching certification, and a lot of bruises, blood, sweat, tears,
Yeah.
and crying later. I'm here, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I loved all my experiences so far, and I hope to have more as time goes on.
Okay. So what's like the biggest takeaway from being a part of martial arts for so many years? Like for me, like I don't know what you would go through, right? But you've
Mhm.
dedicated so much time. So yeah, talk about the takeaways and the impact that is it had on you.
So the thing about karate that really drew me in was that it was my first time to find a family away from home or a home away from home because that was actually my
Mhm.
first job. My first job was actually an assistant instructor at my karate dojo, and it taught me that itself taught me a lot of patience. Because the first class that they taught me that they kind of roped me into was the basically the after school daycare class, which was five like little 5 or 6 year olds who were all hyper and all like trying to like bounce around, do all the cool shit. And I was really just teaching them no. And that's really where I had to get a lot of patience from, and I really had to dig down really deep. I learned a lot of patience from that. I learned a lot of like not exactly hiding your emotion, but like when the going get tough, tough get going, if that makes any sense. Like you need to be able to keep a stoic impression even through adversity. Otherwise, things probably won't really, or otherwise, if things don't pan out the way you want them to, you might just go down in a downward spiral. And martial arts actually really helped me just keep a stiff mentality, like keep trucking even if the going gets tough. But you gotta like stay true to who you are, and you gotta stay true to what you know. You gotta know what you know, and if you do a lot of really hard work, success will find you in the weirdest way possible. Um, yeah, and a lot of other things as well. Just like I mean, the obvious things like self defense
Mhm.
and weapons training and all that stuff really helped me out as well. I have, but I know that people in this in your chat are gonna ask like, have I ever had to use them before? Yes, I have. But the main thing about martial arts, or that they teach you about karate and all the traditional Japanese stuff, is that you train so you don't have to fight.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing. If you know martial arts, the more you know the more you know about martial arts, the less you'll want to actually brag about it, and the less you'll want to actually go through and showing people that you know it, because you know what carnage that could happen. Like you know that it's not a pretty sight whenever someone gets beat up. So that's why I never like to brag about it. I never like to say, "Oh, hey, I do this, I do this, I do this."
Mhm.
It's not really worth it to me to show, because otherwise by the time I have to show it, it's already too late,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any stories about how and when you had to apply it outside of the martial art world?
The very first time I've actually had to use martial arts ooh, in a life or death situation, that's pretty much the only way I could put it, would be when I was in South Seattle and I was actually picking up my cousin from her track practice. And unfortunately, her track practices were held I'm trying to find, in a more urban environment. I'm not trying to say other things, but yeah, they were in a more urban environment where there would be drive-by shootings sometimes. And I was just filling up my tank at a gas station. There's a dude who held a gun to my back, said all that, like said, "Oh, give me your money, blah blah blah." Fortunately, I didn't see any clerk in there, so I can call for help. Like that was the first thing I tried, just calling for help. And yeah, I had to use it there. Thankfully, I got out alive, and I learned again when I got home and when I told my dad about the entire thing that that was the dumbest thing I could have done, was fight the dude with a gun, especially because my life could have ended like that. Like if you blink your eyes, that's how fast someone could shoot the trigger,
Yeah.
and that's how fast like my life could have ended right there. Another time I've had to
Insane.
use it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Another time I've had to use it was during, oddly enough, I've had to use it during school. Mainly because there's a dude who just wouldn't stop trying to bully me. He would keep calling me names, keep doing that. He shoved me a few times. I didn't think he was worth it. Um, it got to a point where if I didn't do anything, my dad would have to. And because my dad is a 6 foot tall, bald brown guy, of course that's gonna not go well over with some with some parents over at schools. So me being like the quiet eighth grader, the kid didn't exactly know what to expect. I ended he just swung at me, and within like 5 seconds he was on the ground,
Mhm.
just because I literally just dodged a punch, blocked it, and pushed him, and he didn't want to fuck with me ever again. I've had a few other close encounters other than that at a couple bars, at a club, and unfortunately at EDC that actually happened to my friend group, and I was ready to not fight, but I was ready to defend my friend,
Yeah.
because he actually almost got his phone stolen, and I had to step things in. The dude that was trying to come at him was huge. He was
Uh-huh.
pretty big, pretty jacked, pretty drunk, pretty messed up on some other things as well. And if things didn't get stopped by a security guard there, one of us would have landed in the hospital. And I'm really glad nothing escalated from there.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, and those
Nice.
were
That is
unfortunately the
crazy.
only times. But yeah.
So you explained what you did, right, to the
Mhm,
bully. You know,
mhm,
it was within a few seconds you blocked, pushed him down, right?
mhm,
Um, so like when you protected yourself from the gunman,
mhm.
like how did everything go down and like did he get reported or like what was the end story?
The dude ran away because he didn't know what the hell to do. He thought
Yeah.
he was dealing with like Bruce Lee or something like that. And I clearly wasn't. Like I was literally just like a chubby 5'8" Asian kid, but I apparently scared him enough to like walk away. Um, the gun thankfully wasn't loaded. He just wanted to get some money, and he had the gun like held like at my back, so I had to like go like that.
Yeah.
And basically, I literally just had to like turn around and like elbow the guy. Like I turned around, elbowed, and disarmed him.
Yeah.
And it, oddly enough, if I didn't go to a self-defense seminar from my sensei's like first teacher the week before, I probably would have either died then and there, or would have just given him all my money and left. So yeah, that's basically what happened
Crazy.
with
This
that.
was on your way to pick up your cousin, you said?
I was waiting for her to get out of track and field
Yeah.
practice in high
So
school.
like
So
she didn't even see any of that.
nope.
Must have been hell of a story to tell her.
Oh yeah, she didn't believe me.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it is what it is.
Okay, so aside from you needing to use that outside of the martial arts realm,
Mhm.
what would you consider as your favorite memory from martial arts? It's been many years.
Getting to travel to Italy in 2009. I actually went to an international tournament for my martial arts organization, and I
Mhm.
represented the U.S. That was actually really cool. The international tournament event was held in Italy, and even though I lasted about this is actually a pretty funny story because I only lasted like 2 minutes
Mhm.
in my one and only sparring match over there, because they actually just recently updated the age brackets. So the way it was before that tournament was 15 to 7, it was 14 and under, 15 to 17, 18 to 34, and then 35 to 40, 35 plus, right?
Okay.
They actually changed it for that tournament to 15 to 18.
Mhm.
And my draw was apparently a 6'5" Italian guy who had just won the whatever martial art organization he was a part of. He had just won his event in sparring, and I had to
Mhm.
go up against that guy. Like I was hyping myself up. I was like, "Yeah, you can fucking do this. It's gonna be easy. You're gonna do that. You're gonna be facing people who you haven't faced or that you haven't faced before, but they can't be as tough as the people I've been facing." No, yeah, I got my ass rocked. And yeah, it basically there's a picture of me. If I could find it, I'll send it to you later.
Mhm.
But there's a picture of me defending, and like I hadn't gone through puberty or my growth spurt yet. So I was stuck at my 5'7", 5 foot frame, and there's just me looking at this guy with my hands up, just like, "Hi, how are you?"
Yeah.
And that shit is like the funniest thing ever because people think it's like that to me, like to see me, and I'm just like, Yeah, I know how you feel, trust me."
Mhm.
And yeah, that was my favorite. I mean, even though I got my ass rocked, I got to go all around Italy. I got to go to the Vatican. I got to go to Pompeii. Got to see Naples. I shopped over in Italian stores, which are really stupid expensive. Got to drink coffee over there, and I got to spend time with a lot of people I considered my family. So yeah, that was really fun, really great. Mhm.
All right. So that was martial arts. So aside from baseball, martial arts, and sports in general, were you involved with any clubs or activities?
This is high school and below, right?
Correct.
Um, I was involved in choir for quite a while. So I didn't actually know about the stereotype that all Filipinos could sing.
Mm-hmm.
And my music teacher in fourth grade just randomly went up to me and said, "Hey, you're good at singing. You should come here on Saturday." I didn't know what it was, so I was like, okay, cool. I went, and it turned out it was choir practice. We didn't do anything cool, like we didn't do any competitions or anything. It was just church choir. But I actually fell in love with singing at that point, even though I wasn't the best. It was actually really, really fun and really cool to just get to know, get to do all that stuff. In high school, I actually picked up a guitar, and that was mainly
Okay.
because I'm not sure if you're familiar with a lot of like YouTube Asian artists, but do you know Gabe Bondoc?
Hmm, I've heard of the name. I kind of forgot who that
Yeah.
is.
So there's a song called Gentlemen Don't, and my
Hmm.
cousin was absolutely in love with that song. So I took a listen and I fell in love with it instantly. It became my favorite song and the inspiration for me to try to learn how to play the guitar. So it was that, as well as Jeremy Passion or
Hmm.
Lemonade, as you probably know, AJ Raphael, JRA, Andrew Garcia, all those guys. Those are the guys who really like inspired me to try to learn music in high school, and yeah, it really just helped me like fall in love with it even more because I think it was then that I kind of realized that music helps me convey emotions that I can't necessarily like write down. So if I'm bored and I send you a song, then that usually means that we're super super fucking close, and I'm not bearing my soul to you, but like I'm like sending you a piece of like how of what I'm thinking about at that moment in time. So yeah,
Do you still sing today?
somewhat.
Mm.
I mean, every family party we do a little karaoke. I sing to
Hmm.
myself in the shower and when I'm driving to work. I have a channel point command redeem in my stream for serenading, where I serenade for. I should probably change it so that it's not a serenade because people like say, "Oh yeah, serenade this person or that person." But yeah, I sing sometimes on
Uh-huh.
stream. On stream, I actually do DJ sets as well, and yeah, it's just like my love of music has only grown since joining choir, and I'm extremely grateful for it and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Was there any other like clubs or activities?
After high school, I actually joined the Filipino American Student Association over at UW, shout out FASA, and they actually helped me find who I was as a Filipino, and it helped me really decide on what I wanted to do as a career path. Those guys really helped me out during my darkest hours. Coming out of 2014, I was pretty much at my lowest point, and I joined them because my cousin was actually their treasurer and said, "Hey, can you do dog sleds for me like on Saturday? Like I know you like football."
Yeah.
And yeah, I joined. I kept coming back, and probably like the end of the first month I was there, they actually accepted me as like a honorary member, and I just went around, and even though I didn't go to University of Washington or any of the other schools that org was affiliated with,
Hmm.
everybody welcomed me in with open arms. And I've met some of my closest friends thanks to that organization and thanks to all the other orgs around the Pacific Northwest because of them. And it's yeah, like I really wouldn't be there if it wasn't for them. And if everything kind of went down the way it was going down, then quite honestly, I wouldn't have started streaming. I wouldn't have made it to the point to where I am today. Um, yeah, I love those guys. They're like my little brothers and sisters. So yeah.
Nice. Love to hear that.
Mhm.
Okay. And with that being said, was there anything else or like you were
Um,
involved with?
that's sports, random clubs.
Hmm.
There was a time in high school where I was a part of Super Smash Brothers Club.
Okay.
That was the weirdest 3 months of my life because I needed something to fill out like times when I was in school, and I wasn't really doing anything. I wasn't good at the game at all.
Hmm.
Like I was always they knew me as the guy who would pick Kirby or Jigglypuff, and I would always get rocked. but I at the end I got pretty good at Jigglypuff and eventually won an in-house tournament we had over there for like a small like I think it was like a $50 prize. And yeah, that was really fun. I keep wanting to try to do Smash, and it's hard, but I want to keep on doing it, and it's something I eventually want to do on stream with a bunch of people. So yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay.
hmm
Future games on stream.
hmm Should be fun. I can't wait.
All right. So with all those things you were involved with in like high school, what would you say your stereotype was? What kind of kid were you known as by others?
The quiet kid who somehow knew everybody.
Okay.
Or yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I never really belonged in any sort of social circle as a kid. Or yeah, as a kid, and even going into high school. Like I knew people who would be like on different sports teams, so I would sit with them during lunch sometimes. There's also sometimes where I would sit with people from the band. Like I was really just a floater. I really just floated everywhere. Didn't really have a set group of friends. Honestly, I didn't even go to prom. I didn't go to any of the dances. I just kind of vibed and I chilled with people
Yeah.
because I guess I was known as that one person who would just float around and be there, you know? Um, so yeah, I kind of got a reputation for knowing everybody and because of that, I got to meet some really nice people. Um, and oddly enough, I actually got to meet Jay Park at one point. So that was interesting because he actually went to the same high school as me. Um,
Wow.
yeah, he actually graduated like I want to say 4-ish years. 4-ish years before I was a freshman there.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to meet him through a few friends, and that was really fun. I liked it a lot. Um, yeah.
Okay, so that was stereotype.
hmm
So the next topic that I usually go over is bullying, and you briefly talked about your encounter. Other than that, have you dealt with other forms of bullying, and how did you handle those situations if you did?
Most of my forms of bullying after that one incident in 8th grade has come from like online stuff.
Okay.
I've dealt with online bullies a lot, mainly because they thought I was trash at a game that I really wasn't trash at, and then I proceeded to shut them up by destroying them. But the biggest form of bullying I've encountered so far online was actually through a lot of hate raids that I got. And those were mainly from people when I was actually partnered with I'm not sure if you're familiar with the subreddit livestream fail,
I'm not
but
personally. Mhm.
gotcha. So it's basically a subreddit on the massive like Reddit homepage that posts clips. It started out as fail clips from streamers, but it's eventually just grown into something that it's like one of the biggest communities on Reddit, and it's people just talking about streamers and showing random clips of their favorite streamers.
Yeah.
They actually had a mental health awareness collaboration with Livestream GG, or not Livestream, Happy Gamer, HappyGamer.gg or HealthyGamer.gg, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just me and a bunch of other like famous partnered streamers, um, and we got to basically just take the entire month and um, talk about mental health awareness, stream for that, get like a bunch of donations, and have a charity. And we actually donated to a charity at the end of the month with all our tips, or with all of our donations like pulled together. And yeah, it was actually a really fun experience. But at the same time, it came out to some people who did not believe in the cause whatsoever. And um, unfortunately, it did come to a point where there was a donation where it destroyed kind of like my mental.
Mm-hmm.
This happened like May of last year too. That's actually how I got to meet a couple of my mods now. But yeah, it wasn't a fun. Those hate raids were not a fun time, but at the same time, it really taught me to really have a positive mentality when there wasn't one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that's why I could truck through like 8 constant hours of Valorant without malding too much. Yeah. Yeah. That was the biggest form of online bullying I ever got, and that is something I never want to get back to. But I'm here now. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm surviving. I'm on your podcast, and I'm happy to have met you and all y'all. And yeah, it's fucking amazing. I'm sorry, pardon my language, but yeah,
No,
it's
you're good.
amazing.
You're good.
Yeah, it's amazing that I've gotten to meet everybody through your amazing community, and even these tournaments that you're throwing. Like it takes my breath away.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk more about this in the later Twitch segments.
hmm
Okay. So, other than bullying, have you ever found yourself in other forms of like physical altercations and fights? Well, aside from martial arts.
Baseball and football. Those were the biggest two, and basketball actually. Yeah, the other sports that I played. There's
Huh?
a lot of times where we got into like altercations with other teams. There was one time actually I was playing in the in a Filipino basketball league.
Okay.
Oh god. And, sorry, I only laugh because it's such a stupid story, but I love it. There was one time where I was playing in a Filipino basketball league, and obviously like being full Filipino and 6'4", it's like it's kind of weird because literally everybody that I know that is Filipino is like shorter than me.
Yeah.
And there was one time where I was the center for my Filipino my PBL team, and I was facing a dude whose team like they were like undefeated, like they were expected to win by a lot, but the dude who was guarding me was like 5'8". So what ended up happening was that he kept like gut checking me right when the refs weren't looking, because apparently that's how we play.
Hmm.
So he kept on gut checking me, and there was one time where he actually just like he threw a hand like down like really fast, and it hurt like hell. Like I'm not gonna like I'm not even gonna front. It hurt like hell because it hit my crotch,
Oh
and
shit.
I bent over. I bent over and I was cringing. It hurt like a motherfucker, but at the same time I was like, okay, if that's how you want to play, fuck it, it's on. And that was like early on in like the first half.
Mhm.
So the very next play, when I was trying to box him out for a rebound, I elbowed him straight like in the solar plexus. And if you
Ooh.
like don't, yeah, I elbowed him like straight in the solar plexus, like super fucking hard. And first of all, like I felt really bad
Hmm.
because because of my height advantage, like I just got the rebound and boom, like straight into there.
Yeah.
It He folded, and the man started fucking crying. I felt bad, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I was like, "You fucking deserve that, you little shit." Like, you can't expect to like get me all like out throughout all those things and just like not have me retaliate in a little bit. Like, yeah, that's the biggest altercation that I've ever gotten
Hmm.
into. Outside of it, I felt really bad afterwards. I apologized to him and his parents because oddly enough, his parents are my family friends, or my
Oh.
family's friends, and yeah, it was interesting to say the least. But you know, now me and him are chill.
Hmm.
He just doesn't forget about that moment, and yeah, sorry.
Nice. The stories.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love it though.
Hmm.
It's fun.
Okay. So, have you ever dealt with any severe injuries?
Um, the biggest injury I've ever had to deal with was thankfully nothing too severe.
Hmm.
I actually thought I tore my MCL when I was snowboarding last year.
Oh, okay.
That like it hurt mainly because like if you like watch a lot of sports, then if you tear like an AC or ACL or MCL, that usually means like you feel a pop, you just can't walk straight. You can't not walk straight, but like you can't walk without it like hurting at
Hmm.
all. What happened to me was that I was snowboarding and I was going down way too fast, and I didn't realize that I was like on a fresh like I had like a bunch of fresh powder underneath me. So what ended up happening is that I stopped, I slid, but I put my body weight too far forward, so I ended up flipping in the air a couple times down a hill. I landed and my board just kind of planted, like one side planted, and I kept on going and rolling,
Huh.
but my board didn't because it was stuck in the snow. So what ended up happening is that I felt a big ass pop in my right knee,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally could not get up or move for like an hour. So I luckily I had my phone in my pocket, and luckily for some reason there was service on the mountain. So I called my friends. Like I was like, hey, like I'm on the Blue Hill run or whatever run that was. I'm near the bottom. Can you guys help me? I can't move at all. So yeah, I didn't for some stupid reason, I know, I didn't choose to go to the doctor over there because out of network plans for my thing would have cost me like $150 to $300 per visit. So I didn't want to spend that much, so I just put some ice on it, called it a day, and yeah, I just wasn't able to snowboard for the rest of the weekend because of it. Hurt like hell, but thankfully, thank God, nothing was torn. It was just like it was just like very badly hyperextended, and I could have torn it if I didn't get my foot, or if I didn't get the board out of the snow when I did.
Yeah. Jeez.
Mhm.
Scary.
Scary but fun. I definitely want to go back snowboarding
Mhm.
again soon. So yeah.
Okay, so talk about the transition from high school to college. What career path did you take and what went down? And then from there, you could talk about, give us like an overview of what has been happening in your life up until today. And I'll ask you specific questions.
Okay. So the thing that I kind of regret doing, like I was actually pretty good at Call of Duty
Mm-hmm.
in high school. So I knew I had a passion for video games. So I was like, fuck it, let's try something that's in its infancy. Like I knew that esports would be big. I just didn't think it'd be this big, like $1 million pots and all that. So I actually got good enough to a point where I was signed onto a team, and we would be doing tournaments for like $200, $300 each online. We'd be winning, we'd be getting constantly good results, but at the same time, obviously being Filipino, the the stereotypes are, oh yeah, engineer, nurse, doctor, whatever, like those really, really, really high paying jobs. Unfortunately, that never panned out,
Mm-hmm.
and I chose to just completely like not go to college. Um, yeah, and so I decided to pursue professional Call of Duty player. Did not work. I ended up being the black sheep of my family
Ah.
because of it, and it didn't work out as much as I wanted to. Like my last, luckily for me, like the last team that I went to, they actually got signed onto a pretty big org at the time with a lot of money, and they ended up, I think, qualifying for COD champs back in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I was dropped from the roster right before they were picked up, but the people wanted me to coach for them while they were in the qualifiers for champs. So I coached them while they were doing that, and yeah, I call that point like the lowest point of my life because that's when a lot of friction between my parents and I really started to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it finally came to an apex in 2014 where a lot of things that shouldn't be said between a parent and their kid happened,
Yeah.
and things happened, and yeah. Then the whole FASA thing happened. That turned me around. Um, I didn't think about going to esports at all. Um, but then I went to FASA, went back to school, got my associates in communications,
Mm-hmm.
and oddly enough, I ended up getting also a certification in background coding, and now I'm in social work. So yeah, I've gotten to go to a lot of places because of FASA. I've gotten to go to a lot of places because of social work as well, and it's fun. It's really fun. Like the path I've chosen to take isn't the most health or mentally healthy one, but I'm not sure if the saying goes it's not about the journey, it's a destination, or if it's the other way around. It's not about the destination, it's the journey. Um, but the journey that I took was really the journey far less traveled, and I wouldn't take back anything for the world of what I've done, because without the journey that I've taken to who I am today, I wouldn't be here. I know my ass wouldn't be here. I know that um, the things that I went through would have made me the same person that I am today. And yeah, quite honestly, streaming has done a big part of it as well. Um, did you want me to segue into streaming from there? Actually,
Gotcha. We'll save streaming
cool,
for a later topic.
cool.
Yep. So that was like an overview of everything you went through after high school, correct?
That was a very brief overview. There's just a lot of really small adventures that I've done through FASA.
Hmm.
There's just a lot to unpack in that one, but yeah.
Like social life aspects.
Oh yeah, social
Oh
life
yeah.
aspects. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things that happen there. When in 2016, I actually went to a conference in Chicago
Hmm.
for my internship. That was a fun that was a fun weekend because that was the first that I call that the night of almost blacking out and something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got about like the equivalent of about like 20 to 30 drinks in me, and
Hmm.
let's just say that things happen. I lost my virginity, all that fun stuff. Yeah.
We'll get to that topic very soon. Whatever you're
Okay.
comfortable like
Yeah. Don't
talking
worry.
about.
I have no more shame. So I mean, my stream already knows this story, so I don't mind telling it again.
Okay. So before we get into that, let's talk about your work experiences. So you could start from the very first job, explain how you got into it and what went down, and then just go from there.
And talk about every other job from then on.
Yep.
Okay. So my very first job was actually an assistant instructor at my karate dojo, and like I said, it taught me a lot of patience because I had to deal with a lot of younger kids who are like anywhere between 5 and 8, and I really taught them about like not only martial arts, but I gave them like real life examples to to go with those to go with the skills I was teaching them, and yeah, it's actually really cool to see that some of like a couple of them are actually like senseis at the dojo I was in,
Yeah.
and they're really upstanding kids. Like a few of them are like college graduates now. Um, it's actually really dope to see. I love it, and the parent like they're still thanking me for the things that I've done for them, and the parents are as well. Like I was like their favorite teacher growing up
Oh.
because I always had the most patience with them. I made them do the least amount of like push-ups and all that. I basically met their silliness and hyperactivity, and I met that with compassion and just teaching them how to do things. And yeah,
Mhm.
they love me for it. I love them for it. And some of the most interesting job experiences of my life. But yeah, the main reason I left was because I decided I would go back to school, and I knew that doing that plus getting a job would not end up well. I knew that I wouldn't be able to really have the same amount of I wouldn't be able to have the same amount of effectiveness as if I would be there 24, or if I would basically live at the dojo, be there 24/7 like I actually was at that time.
Mhm.
My second job is actually at a GameStop, and they initially hired me on as a holiday hire, because they needed more people to go because of the holiday, like Black Friday, Christmas, all that fun stuff. And I was initially just kind of there, but as time went on, it was actually really cool to see like how retail businesses worked. And by the end, they actually made me like assistant manager of the joint
Mhm.
or of the place, and I was able to like really have like creative control of what was put in and not put in on their store. And the funny thing is that I was actually known in my region as the guy who would like predict um, whether a game would either flop or not, or would either do well or not do well in the stores. And for some strange reason, a good amount of games that I thought would do well did well. A lot of the games that I didn't think would do well did not do well. And they kind of went to me. Sorry, corporate kind of went to me at one point, said that I was like one of the higher like performing people in the company in the region, and they wanted me to like they asked for my input on some things about what they should and shouldn't advertise, and that was really cool. Um, but my biggest reason for leaving is the fact that I just couldn't take the retail life.
Uh-huh.
As much patience as being an karate instructor really gave me, holy crap. um, the people that we got in GameStop, and
Uh-huh.
especially the people who were, I don't want to call them dumb. I'm really trying not to call them dumb, but the people who lack the common sense about some things really kind of made me realize that the retail life was not for me.
Yeah.
That a lot of people have no common sense when it comes to store policies. And I know that the GameStop's a meme about like how they price and sell their games.
Hmm.
But at the same time, something I learned about business is it's supply and demand. Like if there's a bigger supply for a game, and if it's a newer title, then of course it's gonna be like more expensive than the games that are never asked for.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot about business that way. But it's really just like the customer service aspect that really did it in for me for there.
Hmm.
Because I had to fake a lot of things when I was being yelled at by customers and about it like being my fault. I'm like whenever people would say, "Oh yeah, this is your fault for doing this," blah blah blah, blah. You should have done this, you should have done that. I'm like, yeah, I know. Don't worry. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, ma'am. This is completely my fault. Well, I'll make it right for you right away. I had to put on like my customer service voice, which was like, oh, like I'm sure you know Bunny C. She has a customer service voice too, which is like she goes a little bit of a higher pitch. That was my customer service voice as well. So yeah, we had to like have a whole entire pitch for when we were to for when we like even at like did something so small as to answer the phone, to saying to greeting people at the store, to greeting people at the register, to having them leave the store, and it was just a lot to deal with for my brain, which wanted to just chill and wanted to just like talk about games all day.
You
So
have
yeah.
a story, like specific memory of like someone who is extremely difficult that tested your patience? I love hearing those stories. They
There was
get very
actually
interesting.
there was actually one time where there was a dude who came in and he was browsing. Like I was at the store by myself, and it was like during the opening shift,
Mhm.
and a dude was just came in by himself, and I had to go into the back and get something. I come out like 5 minutes later. Man stole literally half the cases from the freaking shelf
Mhm.
and left. I was just like, shit. How the hell am I going to slate all this? Like I left in the back just to get something, and yeah, because he asked me for a certain game that was like really hard to find. I was like, okay, we have a copy of that in the back. Let me grab it, and I have to climb a few ladders. Blah blah blah. When I came back, half the shelf was missing. Like we were talking, like this was before the PS4 and Xbox One came out, so like a bunch of 360, a bunch of PS3 games, a bunch of even GameCube games. Sorry,
Mhm.
game cases were off the shelf, and I was in the middle of making new cases for everything. The same guy comes in with all the cases that he brought, or that he sorry, not brought, that he stole,
Mhm.
and he said, "I'd like to trade in all these games."
No
Um,
way that happened. Oh my god.
and I was like, I couldn't help but like, I couldn't help but, I guess he didn't know it was me, but I was like, yeah, sure, like we'll get this trade started in for you right away. Like, did you want like store credit or cash? I started out like a normal transaction, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah, I just need to make sure that all games work, blah blah blah. And he's like, oh yeah, you don't trust me, you don't do this, you don't do that. I'm like, no, it's just that I don't trust anyone. I'm sorry, sir. I can open and case by case. They were all empty, and you could see all of like literally as time passed, and I opened up the case. I'm like, oh yeah, where this go? Like you could tell, like he was like saying, oh yeah, I guess I lost that one, blah blah. And then as soon as he said, oh yeah, you had to check that for every game, I was like, yeah, I am. It's their policy, sir. He just bolted out.
Uh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, I mean, cool. I guess no harm, no foul. But damn, like That's like the best story that I have with ever with that job, and that's something that'll always stick with me from that job. Is just the complete idiocy of some people to like try to sell back a game that they tried to steal. I don't know, but yeah.
Hmm.
Other than that, another good, I guess, really cool story of mine was that my year there where I was actually a holiday hire. I worked for 21 hours and 39 minutes on Black Friday because they needed someone at midnight, and I
Hmm.
was there from midnight to 10 p.m. the next day. So yeah, that was fun.
Jeez.
Hmm.
Those deals, Black Friday and stuff.
Yeah, we also had
Big.
PS4s in stock that day too. So
Ah.
everybody came in asking for a PS4 when we only had 10 that sold out within the first like minute. Yeah.
All right. And then after GameStop, you could continue from there.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Um, After GameStop, I actually sorry, I worked for a small batch ice cream company called Central District Ice Cream. They are closed now, unfortunately, due to COVID. Um, COVID rents being too high and people not wanting to come through to the store anymore. But I worked for them as well as Happy Girl More, a burger shop owned by the same or owned by the same owners, as well as Nate's Wings and Waffles, which again was owned by the same or the same couple that owned the other two shops. So it was small batch ice cream plus burgers plus wings and waffle or chicken and waffles.
Hmm.
So that was like my third job. Um, Again, it was the same thing as GameStop. Customer service is interesting. I guess I couldn't handle the restaurant biz as I thought I would be. Um, and I mean the best thing about that place was that I actually got to meet some, I guess you could call them. Yeah, I got to meet some famous people through them. Like I'm not sure if you follow football at all, but through Central District Ice Cream, I was actually able to develop a flavor with Marshawn Lynch, called
Yeah.
it Beast Mode Marshmallow or Beast Mellow. I forgot what we call it, but it was Beast Mode and it was marshmallow flavor.
Pretty
That was really
cool.
cool. Hmm.
Hmm.
We also got to do a lot of really interesting flavors, like there's Fruity Pebbles ice cream. We had chicken and waffles ice cream. That was cool. My favorite is ube cheesecake. We had that, and I actually had to make the ube cheesecake by myself before putting it in the ice cream. So I did a little bit of baking with that. I also got to make a lot of Filipino flavors as well, so that was fun. The burger place was pretty standard, pretty typical with any burger place. It was just serving burgers and fries and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And wings and waffle, the chicken and waffles place, Nate's, that actually was a really cool place because that was known as like one of like the best place to go, one of the best places to go to, kind of,
Hmm.
especially like around the college crowd because it was next to Seattle University. And it was actually made because there was a partnership between the former NBA basketball player Nate Robinson, the guy who won 3 dunk contests,
Hmm.
as well as the owner. So there was a connection between those two, and he agreed to put his name on the restaurant for business in exchange for free food for life, which he did. So yeah, I got through that. I actually got to meet Rich the Kid. I got to meet Young Thug at one point. Got to meet Kevin Hart. I got to meet Zach Levine. Well, Russell Wilson, Cam Chancellor, a bunch of Seattle Seahawks came through. A bunch of different basketball players went through because they knew Zach Levine. A bunch of different TikTok or not TikTok, sorry, Instagram influencers came through. That was really cool. Um, and yeah, it was actually really dope. It was really dope. I loved it. But the
So
main
many
reason why,
people.
oh yeah, I got to meet a lot of people, and that was really cool. But at the same time, I left mainly because I knew that the business was kind of going downhill because there was like some internal issues with like payments and all that.
Hmm.
And yeah, I left because I actually found my next job, which is the job I'm currently doing right now, which is working in social work and low-income housing for YWCA. It's an international organization that's actually based, I believe, in Atlanta, Georgia, but we have different organizations like all over the world in different just like different cities and all that. Um, Me myself, I chose to go into social work mainly because I lucked into it. I actually locked into the job that I have right now because normally the job that I have is required to have like a 4-year bachelor's in social work, blah blah blah. And I obviously didn't have any of that, but I got in because of all the community service I actually ended up doing with FASA. And it was just an amazing experience. It's been an amazing experience so far. Um, yeah,
That's really
and
good to hear. Mm.
yeah, I've loved every second of it. The main thing about my job is that I work in low income housing. So the clients that I deal with are mainly mainly women of color who have gone through either incarceration, domestic abuse, mental health illness or mental illnesses, and homelessness, or any combination of the four. And I'm able to like work with them, really see their growth,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's been a lot of ups and downs with the job. More
Mm.
recently, more downs, but I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for the world right now, because I love my team that I work with. I love my organization, and yeah.
Yeah. So this is like a full-time job that keeps you busy.
It's a full time job. Technically I'm actually on call 24/7, and my boss just texted me. Okay, but yeah, I'm on call 24/7.
Yeah.
Whenever my boss leaves, it's up to me basically to hold down the entire fort.
Okay.
So
I
I'm
see.
just kind of there, and it keeps me busy, keeps me stressed, but it keeps me balanced and grounded
Mhm.
to realize how lucky I am to be where I am right now.
Yes.
So yeah, it's put me in a position to really move up or move down to where I can be and stuff. So if I do find a job eventually that's out of state, that's around the same path as I have right now,
Mhm.
then I'm actually able to transfer the things that I've learned from here and move them over to another site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is your work experiences, correct? All that.
That
Okay.
is my work experiences.
All right. Super random, but since you've met like NBA players, are you into basketball? Like watching it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
love basketball.
What's your team?
The Seattle Sonics, sadly. No, as a kid, obviously coming from Seattle, the Seattle Sonics
Yeah.
they were the team.
Uh
Like
huh.
it's unfortunately in 2008, tremendous, I'm not gonna say it on stream, but bad person named Clay Bennett took them away from us and moved them to OKC. I was never actually a Thunder fan. I love the team, like don't get me wrong, I love the team,
Yeah.
but I hated the ownership for what they did. Like they even took away the banners and the history and all that. So then I actually went to people call me a bandwagon so many times for saying this, but I went to Golden State. This is like pre Steph Curry too. This is like the year before
Nice.
they drafted Steph Curry.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when they had Monte Ellis, you know
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
team, the team with like the worst record, the team with the really bad players. But
We
I like
believe.
Monte Morris. Exactly, I believed in it. Like it was like I loved Monte Morris and his style of play. And then Steph Curry came. I was like, shit, they're gonna be a good team. And then Steph Curry became who he was. And
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, then I just recently just started like getting into every other team as well. Obviously, I
Okay.
supported Kevin Durant wherever he went because he was drafted here. Russell Westbrook, same. I always supported him.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
So who was your
and
favorite player during the Supersonics days?
Gary Payton.
Gary Payton. Okay.
Gary Payton was my favorite Sonic, but my favorite player in general was actually Kevin Garnett from the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah.
He was always a really cool sight to watch. I actually have a jersey somewhere buried in my closet.
Hmm.
So yeah, Kevin Garnett's always been my top three power forwards of all time. So yeah, my top two before him are actually Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Tim Duncan. So yeah.
All right. Speaking of a top list, because I was gonna ask you this, top
Mhm.
5 players of all time, any positions.
Ooh, top five players of all time.
Hmm.
Like my top five favorite, or who I think are the top five
Who
like
you think are the
best.
best? Yeah. Best.
Kareem number one. Um, Mike number 2, LeBron number 3, Kobe number 4, and number 5. It's either going to be Wilt Chamberlain or Shaq. Yeah. The main reason why I put Kareem number 1 is because yes, there will never be another person who changes basketball more than Michael Jordan. He brought it to a global scale like nobody has ever done before, and that's why people say he's the best of all time. And the fact that he's
Uh,
like so clutch, so this, so that. But Kareem, if you saw what he did throughout his career, like he scored the most points out of like anybody in his career. I think Steph Curry might actually pass him, maybe, or LeBron. But there's nothing compared to what he did for the game in terms of just like being dominant for so many years.
mhm.
So yeah, like people flame me, whatever. It's all like subjective, you know.
Yes, your opinion.
Yeah,
So
there's some people who think Bill Russell's the greatest of all time because he has 11 championships, and for me, he's top 10, but I don't think he's top 5. So it really just depends.
gotcha. And how about top 5 for the current era?
LeBron's
Active
number 1.
players. Mhm.
Active players. LeBron, number 1. To really think about this one, can they have retired within the last 5 years?
Nah. Active
Crap.
in today's.
Okay, LeBron, Steph Curry, Giannis. This is like actually, LeBron, Steph Curry, Giannis. He hasn't. These two players, the other two I haven't done really enough for me to warrant them having be on the top 5 players. But they're too good not to pass up.
Hmm.
I might get flamed as hell for this, but Luca and Ja Morant. Just because they have, for me personally, I think they have the 2 biggest ceilings. Just because of the sheer dominance that Ja has brought, and Luca. I mean, Luca's just Luca. He brings that Luca magic, you know. Number 6 for me would actually be Nikola Jokic, though.
Wait.
So yeah.
I'm just surprised by this, but it's okay. He's not in your top 5. Would you put KD there?
How the fuck? I thought for some reason in my head I forgot to put KD. Holy shit.
Okay.
So
All
John
right.
Morant's out. John Morant's out. KD's in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Alrighty. That was just a little bit of some basketball talk because I'm also interested.
All right.
Okay.
Who's your favorite team?
Golden State.
Warriors. Yep.
Yep. Golden State. But player of all time, Nash.
Nash. Oh,
Steve Nash,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay. Understandable.
So, before we talk about like your social life aspects, do you want to get into a little bit more about like the parent situation? Because I know you said you were gonna save it for later, but I think this is like the best time before we move on.
Yeah. I mean, this is gonna get into like a really heavy topic, so
Of course.
trigger warnings, all that fun stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in 2014 or 2011 is when I decided to be a professional Call of Duty player. I really worked my way up the ranks, and it got to a point where I was friends with a bunch of like really prominent Call of Duty founding fathers. I was always known as the person who would never go for kills and always go for the objective shit. And it actually got to a point where I was actually on Optic Nation with Nadeshot for his team. And that was about the same time when I actually went into trick shotting as well. Anyway, that's besides the point. I decided to go on there, and I eventually like kept on moving teams, and I was always like a good like manager and like role player. I never broke into the top tier though, because that was only like the top 0.1% of players, right? Fast forward to 2014, and my parents really like had enough of it. Like I really wasn't doing anything in my life, and it got to a point where one night like I said, there was just a lot of things that parents shouldn't be saying to their kids, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I was saying a lot of shit. They were saying a lot of shit. And it actually got to a point where my mom basically told me that um, I wish you had never I wish you had never been born. My dad said you are not my son, and um, a lot of worse shit. But yeah,
Yeah.
it got me to a really bad place, and things happened to where I attempted for the first time. Um, and ever since then, it's been kind of like rocky, to say the least. Sorry.
You're okay. Yeah, take your
Yeah,
time.
it's been like rocky to say the least. I've had a fractured relationship with them ever since then, and luckily, I guess working around the same job as my dad, I've gotten to know him a little bit better. He never stopped saying, "Oh yeah, you should go for your 4 year." Like he never stopped saying that. But things are a tiny bit better with him. With my mom, unfortunately, that's not the case. We both know that there's love there, but unfortunately, it's not the same. Um, yeah, I definitely don't tell them I love them as much as I should, and I hope to fix that relationship with them, because that's, at the end of the day, that's who you'll always have no matter what. Um, yeah. So I love them, but it's hard to constantly be around and constantly like walking on eggshells, trying not to slip up, trying to fix things that quite frankly should not need to be fixed. And yeah, it's difficult. Like my mom's actually in Dallas right now for her job, and if something were to happen to me or to her, the last thing I ever said to her was, "Have fun."
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with my dad. He has a lot of health issues. He actually just had COVID before, or when he had COVID, when he was like sick, when I had to take him to the hospital, the last thing I said was, "You got this. Stay strong. We'll be here when you're ready to go home." And yeah, always tell your parents you love them.
Take
I
away from
definitely,
that.
yeah,
Yeah. Wow, so that was like 2014.
yeah. 2014 up until now, it's for the past 8 years. It's been difficult.
I see. Especially because you guys are doing your own thing and you don't even like see each other often, right? So
Yeah,
often.
like my dad comes home around 6 o'clock every night.
Uh,
My mom's in and out of the house. I'm usually home around 4. And because most of my life is online as of right now, I'm usually
mhm.
in my room. I spend time with them, but at the same time, I don't think anything's gonna make up for the past 8 years that we've missed,
Yeah.
unless I just straight up stick with them and give up everything online.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Definitely a lot to think about, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Really.
Yeah, no worries.
So, before we move on, do you need to take a break? Restroom
I'm
break or
actually
anything?
good. No,
Okay.
I'm actually good. If you need to take a break,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm good for now. Good for now. Okay.
Yep.
So, we will transition to some of your social life aspects.
All right.
All right.
Hmm.
So now this is the point where you talk about your partying, your clubbing, your raving, the EDF scene, the phases, the wild stories. give us like a whole overview of what you've been through so far. Wherever you want to
Um,
start.
that's actually easy because everything has happened within the last like 6, 7 years.
Okay.
So I mean, like I said, I'm 28 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't even start partying until I was like 21.
Okay.
And once I got into FASA, that was basically my college year. So I was 21 when I first started FASA, even though I was still technically a freshman. So I was hanging out with all the freshmen. Um, but yeah, it's interesting being surrounded by a bunch of like people who are like probably 2, 3 years younger than you. Just because it's just so different whenever you have people who are just literally just younger than you and you're the oldest person in the room compared to whether you're around like the same age as everybody in the room. But partying with them was cool because that's when I started getting to know like my Filipino roots and stuff. So I had a lot of really fun nights where I would just go to like house parties or something like that. We would have like we would just chill in their dorms or something like that and drink and have fun. Um, have do a bunch of like impromptu karaoke things, and yeah, I got to do a lot of karaoke, thankfully. And fast forward to about 2016, 2017. That's actually when I went to Chicago for the thing, for the conference as a panelist for my internship. And quite honestly, I went because of a girl. Um, she had come to the my internship summit here in Seattle, and me and her met. We hit it off right away. It was actually like, I wouldn't say it was quote unquote love at first sight, but it was more like something where we really connected like super 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 fucking fast over the course of like 2 hours or something like that. And it got to the point where it was pretty obvious that she wanted to, I wouldn't say like take me back to her hotel, but like, yeah, but instead of me being like the dumbass I was and not and being like just dense, I didn't go back with her. Like I didn't go clubbing with her. So I didn't go back because I had to drive people home and be a DD for them.
Mm-hmm.
I really regretted that, but she gave me her number. Um, we ended up talking a bunch. Like the funny thing is that there was actually a brunch the next morning that I had to miss, but everybody from Seattle went, and same with the people from the different um, organizations throughout the nation. And according to one of my team members, she was like, "Dude, like, what the hell are you telling her? Like, she can't stop like looking at her phone and smiling and shit." So I was like, "Okay, cool." Like, and eventually she told me to come to the conference that she was a part of the planning committee for. I went, and everything was fine. It was really fun. Got to see Chicago. Got to see UIUC, and yeah, um, that night I mean, obviously because it was after the whole conference, she had to unwind, so she was a little drunk. She told me a few things that made me pissed off and she was like, I never go out with you because one, you're a fucking loser. Two, I only go out with guys who have something have that have something going on. And three, I only date guys who I think would have a future. So yeah, that happened. And of course internally that caused me to be like, bitch, what? Like you. And I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna get drunk. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that because I had never gotten drunk before that point.
Okay.
And I completely said fuck it. I let literally okay. So the people who were on my fucking panel were fucking savages when it came to like drinking and all that. So I'll actually send you some videos and pictures if you would like of some of just how many drinks we had. But there's an
Mm-hmm.
after party that we had. I basically had the equivalent of like 20 or 30 drinks because
Nice.
they literally just kept on pouring stuff in my cup, and I was like, okay, I drank. Um,
Mm-hmm.
fast forward to the end of the night, which was about 2, 3 a.m., and there was one girl I was really talking to, vibing with, and um, I take her back to her hotel room because she was having trouble going down the stairs. So
Huh?
okay, so if you could imagine, so do you know like what red roof inns are?
No, I don't.
So okay, so there's one property in particular for that particular hotel where it's two buildings, and my room was one, or sorry, the room that I was staying in was on the top floor, and that's where the party was. That's where the after party was,
Okay.
and her room was on the other building on the like very bottom. So she had to go through like a bridge and then go down the stairs. I didn't want her to fall and like break her
Oh,
leg or something like that, so
yeah.
I helped her down. And the thing that played out, I shit you not, sounded like a fucking porno.
Okay.
Okay, so she, I take her in. I literally put her like I carry her and put her in the bag, and she said, "Hey, wait!" Like she said all the shit. Like, "Hey, wait, you're leaving already?" Blah blah blah. And like, can you stay for like a few minutes to make sure I don't pass out? And I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." So I went. And that's when things started happening. And about 5 minutes in,
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes in, I hear the door. I hear the door open,
Oh,
and her roommate comes in. The girl that she's sharing the room with is in.
yeah.
I'm shocked and embarrassed at that point. And again, like I said, this is like a fucking porno. But the girl, like the girl comes in, starts laughing her ass off, and says, and like I thought jokingly said, "Oh, you're gonna start without me?" Like I was like at that point I was like, "Okay, I'm leaving. Like I can't deal with this embarrassment anymore."
Yeah.
Oh god.
Wait,
So
was she drunk?
yeah, she was lit
So
too.
all three of you.
Yeah, we were all drunk. And then they start going at it. Yeah.
Okay.
So me, I'm a virgin. I don't
Uh-huh.
know what the fuck is going on. So I'm like, imagine you're just sitting there, you're just like I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
And uh, yeah, and then things happen like that, and that's how I lost my virginity in a threesome. And yeah, um, that's not even the craziest part of the story though.
Uh-huh.
So the thing is, after everything ended, um, they both go to they're both in the bathroom or whatever. It's like 6 a.m. and I'm like slowly like regaining consciousness from whatever sleep I was in, and one of them is like I literally I shit you not, I hear one of them say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna sell that video later?"
Hmm.
Yeah. That's how I found out that one of them was a cam girl. I Yeah, that was interesting. Um, so I said no, like can we please not do that? Blah blah. Blah. They're like, okay, cool, whatever. Um, as it turns out, it was uploaded anyway, and there might be a little thing on Pokemon Hub with me in it without me knowing. And yeah.
Damn, what a story.
But I actually ran into them the next day on
Uh-huh.
accident. And yeah, I have a picture with them like at the Chicago Bean.
Mm-hmm.
I have a picture with them at Millennium Park. So yeah, that was an interesting day or
Damn.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you'll always know what they look like.
I'll always know what they look like, and I'll always remember that one night.
Uh-huh.
Oh God. Um. Anyway, after that, um, 2018 is when I started raving. And the
Mm-hmm.
first ever event I went to was Lucky 2018, and Lucky was an event held in Seattle. Um, and oddly enough, like the lineup was great. Like Slander was not as popular as they are today, so they were
Mm-hmm.
actually not like the main headliner, or even like I think they were on the like 10 or 11. And then after that, it was Timmy Trumpet, Carnage, and then Flex Pavilion at main stage. So that was a really good lineup, and that's actually how I fell in love with raving and with EDM and all that. Because I've always loved EDM,
Yeah.
but it's okay. So do you know? I don't know how to explain it. Do you know that GIF that or that video with like that people would like dub random songs over it with of like all those like goth and emo kids just like shuffling below an underpass? I don't
I
know
have
how
to
to
see
explain it.
it to remember, but I don't
I'll,
know.
I'll I'll see if I could find it,
Okay.
but that's what I thought raving was.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I was like, okay, I guess I'm never going to one, even though I like the EDM. And then I went. I was like, huh, I can get used to this more. And I kept on going. Eventually got to a point where I started, or went, or I joined a group called Subtle Asian Leftovers, and they made a group chat going to EDC in 2019. I actually didn't end up going, but I joined the group anyway. I joined the group messenger thing, and through them, I actually got to go to Electric Zoo 2019 in New York. I've been to Countdown. I went to Countdown in 2019 in SoCal. There was one point where I went to freaking Millennium 4 times in NorCal. That was fun.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Like that was like 4 times in 4 nights, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I got to meet them. So I actually went to my first EDC this year. Went to Electric Zoo um, in September, EDC in October, and now I'm planning to go to EDC in May, going to a lot of different events around the nation, and that should be fun. If borders open up and loosen, I'm actually going to Veld in Toronto as well, so that should be interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's basically it for rave stories I have. I there is one picture that I can show you that I have available right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try to find it really quick for you. Because it's basically a meme at this point, and I have no more shame, so I don't mind showing it to people. Okay, right here. So here you go. I DM'd you.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wait,
that was
that's awesome.
yeah, that was at Dream State 2019, and it was fun. I'll leave it at that. There's a lot of there's a lot of things, a lot of firsts that happened. That was my first time doing that, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a lot of fun times with um trick or treating. Let's call it trick or treating. A lot of fun times with candy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's pretty much partying, and ever since 2018, basically, it's been a raving for me that has to do with partying. That's about it.
Can I use that for my collage?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright.
By all means. I
That's
actually have a square one
perfect.
if you would like. Here.
Oh yes, the square
Yeah,
one.
I'll send you the square one. I got you.
Okay, so what type of raver are you then? Like, who are you at the event?
I'm the one vibing in the back.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't mind. I don't mind going to the rail. But at the same time, I would rather just like be in the back, just kind of chilling and vibing and
Hmm.
kind of dancing if needed. Um, yeah. How about
Okay,
you? Are you
okay.
the type of person to like be like in the middle of everything or in dance circles or headbanging? What?
Just with the group, like whatever they're down for.
Same. I
Nothing
felt that.
specific.
Yeah. If I had a choice, I'd be in the back, but I'm usually with my group as well. Hmm.
So, do you have any rave bay experiences?
Do I have any? I had a crazy one. Does that count?
Sure. What's the story?
It was the last girl I dated, actually. We were never really official.
Okay.
We just went on a few dates, but she was actually my old high school crush.
Dang.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't know that she raved at all, but she saw that I was going to Paradiso, which is a festival down at the Gorge, which is like one of the top, I think like top, they rated as like top 10 venues in the world. Um, But yeah, sorry, not they. She said that she was down to go. Like if like she didn't have anyone to go with. I said, yeah, cool, come with us. Like, or I'm going with a few of my friends. And what ended up happening there is that she was just high, and things just ended up like I was just being there for her. I was being like her teddy bear and stuff, and
Hmm.
things happened in the tent because we were camping,
Yeah.
and it just kind of went on from there. Went to another rave called, or another another sorry, another small festival called Faded in the Park,
Hmm.
which is in Vancouver, BC. That was fun. Um, but yeah, um, oddly enough, when things were all said and done, like we were actually set to go to the Millennium Throwback Show with the Ascent Tour as well,
Hmm.
but I found out that I was actually her side piece.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, like I really like this girl. And yeah, I came to find that out because I spent the night at her place. Because we got a little too tipsy, so I spent the night at her place, and the next morning I she was in the shower, and I her closet door was open, and I saw guys' clothes.
Ah, okay.
When I asked her to explain it, she kept on changing her story. First, it was her cousins that she was holding for him.
Hmm.
Then it was her brothers because he stays at her place sometimes. And then it eventually got to, oh yeah, those are just some old clothes that I bought at a thrift shop.
Story
And it
kept
wasn't,
changing. Uh-huh.
yeah, it wasn't just like a few like button downs at all. It was like pants, like unless she was doing some sort of like drag thing or some like reverse drag thing.
Yeah.
Come on, like if you hold like clothes for somebody, why keep it in your closet first of all? Like why would yeah? So I that was like the biggest red flag ever, and I knelt the fuck out of there and never saw her again.
Got
Um,
it.
yeah, that was the last Ray Bay I ever had, actually.
All right.
Everyone else I just kind of vibe with.
Hmm. Any other wild partying or club experiences?
Honestly, I'm pretty tame when it comes to clubbing and partying.
Yeah.
Like I'm usually the DD at parties, so I'll drive people home. I'm usually the let's see, for clubbing, the most that's ever happened is that there was a train that was like there was like a I guess I don't know if they call it like, do you know like the trains where it's like a bunch of people just like one in front of the other just grinding each other?
Yeah.
My friend put me in the back because it was my birthday. We went to this club in Seattle,
Hmm.
and there was a bunch of girls who were like just like kind of grinding on each other, and then my friend pushes me towards them, and I just grinded at the very back, and then they all turned it around on me, and
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And yeah, that was like the wildest thing I ever did. But yeah, that's like honestly, yeah, I'm pretty tame. I'm pretty straightforward when it comes to that type of stuff. I go in, I
Hmm.
drink, I have fun with my friends, and then I leave. That's pretty much it. Unfortunately, sorry for no content there, but yeah.
No, no, no. You're fine. You're fine.
Mhm.
All right. So, favorite EDM artist then?
Favorite EDM artist?
Hmm.
Seven Lions, without a
Okay.
doubt. hmm Yeah, he's the main inspiration for me when I DJ as well, because to me, he's one of the only DJs who could successfully go from like house to dubstep to trance to melodic to uh bit to drum and bass. Like he could do pretty much anything that he wants in a set,
Hmm.
and it for some reason melds like harmoniously like throughout the entire thing. I don't know how he does it, but I just love the fact that he does do it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay. So, talk about your first time drinking alcohol. What was that experience like?
The first time the first time I ever drank alcohol was actually when I spent the night at my friend's place
Hmm.
when I was 16. For legal reasons, I always say that my first drinking experience was when I was 21. But my friend's house when I was 16, I went, and he brought out this random container, and everyone started drinking from it. I was like, okay, cool. And I they're like, yeah, like there was nobody who wanted to drink it. And they're like, yeah, have Jaws drink it, because I'd never drank before. And so they pass it to me. I was like, okay, cool. I sniff it. It smells like straight up rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
I didn't want to drink it at all. But they're like, dude, if you want to fucking stay here for the night, drink it. I'm like, fuck. And me being, again, the impressionable 16-year-old I was like, bottoms up. So I drank it. They, and sorry, not, I drank it and immediately spit it out because it tasted horrible. I tried to do another shot at it. I straight up gagged from just for the smell alone. And yeah, um, it turns out it was Everclear.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that put a pretty big red flag to never drink Everclear again unless it's in some sort of mixed drink.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that was it was interesting to say the least. But it was fun. It just kind of taught me to not touch alcohol again until I was 21. And even then it was, yeah. I only use Everclear in very small amounts anyway, whenever I drink now. And even then, and that's only because like I usually make jungle juice, and I usually am the bartender for all my friends. So I just mix drinks, and if I do make jungle juice, I put a little bit of Everclear in there just to make things a little more potent. But it won't fuck you up as like it won't fuck you up, you know? Yeah.
All right. And what type of drunk would you classify yourself as?
It's like a combination between talkative and loving. Like, you know, those lovey-dovey drugs who are like, oh my god, I fucking love you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a combination of that, and I'll be able to talk your ear off about topics that I'll completely bullshit about. So I'll I remember there was one time where I was talking to a few of my friends when I was drunk at a call at for a FOSSA party, and for some reason we went on and on about we, we went on and on about Doctor Who, and we've never watched, like, none of us has ever watched the show,
Uh-huh.
but we all explained for some strange as hell reason the the continuation of space time and how it correlated to why the Doctor keeps on changing people. Yeah, I still don't know how we got to that part. I still don't know what the heck kind of cockamamie idea was for all that, but yeah, it was fun.
All right. And your favorite versus least favorite alcohol drink?
Are we talking like straight liquor, or are we talking like mixed drinks as well?
It could be anything.
My favorite drink that I've ever had, probably a it's kind of biased since I kind of made it up, but a lychee cocktail.
Okay.
That it has like 2 shots of pineapple rum, and then you mix it with mango rum, and then you mix it with pineapple juice and Sprite. For some reason, it tastes like lychees, and I love lychees. So yeah, that's my favorite drink. My least favorite drink to drink straight up would either be moonshine or tequila. I've gotten to like tequila now, but straight up moonshine or tequila is like really, you know,
Uh,
yeah, a lot of bad memories with moonshine and tequila. Yeah.
moonshine and tequila.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna transition and talk about some of your interests. Let's do a top 5 for shows, top 5 for movies, and top 5 for anime if you're into those.
All right, so top 5 shows of all time. Um, How I Met Your Mother, Community. Let's see, How I Met Your Mother, Community, The Office.
Uh-huh.
Um, the first K drama I've ever watched, which was Goblin. I don't know why, it just is. And South Park.
Oh, a lot of
Those-
sitcoms. Okay.
Yeah. My top 5 favorite movies. be The Shawshank Redemption.
Hmm.
Would anime movies count,
Yeah,
or
that's
would
fine.
those go?
You can
Okay,
include it.
all right. Because a few of these are gonna be anime anyway.
Okay.
Totoro, and that's just because it reminds me of a lot when I was a kid. That was like the only anime I ever watched before Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, Shawshank Redemption, Totoro. Um, I realize I don't watch a lot of movies. Holy shit.
It's on the top of your head, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's like I know what these movies are, but um, crap. The heck? One of them for some strange as fuck reason, The Princess Bride. It's funny to watch whenever like you're drinking and you want to have some fun times. And the last one, honestly, Titanic. I don't know why. I just like watching it because of like I love history. I love historical stuff. So
Hmm.
Titanic is up there. American History X was one that I was actually one that I couldn't that I couldn't find the name to, but now it's come to my head. So American History X as well.
Yeah.
So I love like historical dramas, um, stuff about um, racial stuff, racial prejudice stuff, and
Hmm.
yeah, because that's something that I like to talk about as well. As well as but anime, Haikyuu is one of them. Ace of the Diamond, um, Shokugeki no Soma, Naruto Shippuden, and Demon Slayer. Those are my top five.
Yes, okay.
Mhm.
Current favorite song and artist.
Current favorite song and artist. If you're gonna go by my Spotify in top 21 or top in 2021, that would be Millennium. But my actual favorite artist of all time would actually be NWA. I grew up listening to a lot of hip hop, rap, R&B, but
Mhm.
yeah, NWA is usually the one that sticks in my mind because of the cultural impact they had. Um, favorite song right now
Mhm.
would probably be, let's see. I'm looking through my Spotify right now just to see my top. Oh yeah, my favorite song, "First Time" by Seven Lions. Gotta have that sad boy shit in there. And all time, just because of all the memories I have with it, there is a song called "Moody's Mood for Love." It's by George Benson. It was released in the '80s, and the main reason why that is my favorite song is because it was actually the first verse is actually the lullaby that my dad would sing to me as a kid, and yeah, it just brings back a lot of fun memories,
Mhm.
just remembering it and stuff. And yeah, what was the other one?
Oh no, you got it.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right. And you mentioned that you're a DJ, right?
Yes, I do
Yes.
DJ sometimes on stream.
Okay, so how did you find a passion for that, and how would you describe your experience?
I found a passion through it because I missed raving in
Oh,
2020,
okay.
and I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. And yeah, so I started doing it. I bought a DJ controller,
Hmm.
um, and yeah, that's pretty much why I started doing it. And I started my if you saw my very first DJ set, then holy crap, there was a lot of like really bad transitions, just like songs that didn't quite match up with each other. But if you compare it to now, it's like I've just learned everything, and that's mainly because I've been watching a lot of like tutorials on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but the main reason why I love doing it so much is because it allows me to really I wouldn't say it's a dream of mine, but live out something that I want to try to do one of these days, and that would be to DJ at a really big event. Um, like I was actually able to do a little bit at EDC because they needed someone to do some stuff at the art cars, and I was like, hey, I'll do it, and I mixed a little bit. But yeah, I'm actually in talks to do an actual set for music fest or for a major music festival, which
Oh,
I shall name once everything's confirmed, or if
okay.
everything gets confirmed. They're just thinking about me as part of the lineup right now.
Exciting.
Um, yeah, and I really hope to do that at least one of these days. Um, Something that has happened that's really cool is that I've had a few of a few really big DJs come into my sets. So during one of them, Davin actually came in, so that was really
Nice.
cool.
Okay.
Davin came in, and I actually have that clip on my stream. One of my first sets, or one of my sets, Huang music came in. That's really cool. I've gotten to know the guy pretty well. He's a really cool person. Love him. Um, I've gotten to meet a few other DJs as well. Um, and yeah, it's it's just something that it's like a side project for me pretty much.
Yeah.
And if it's something I love doing, then why not try my best to make everybody happy by doing it, you know?
So where can everyone find your music?
I actually don't produce any music as of right now, but I actually do DJ sets about once every month. I try to do once a month, but sometimes things get in the way.
Okay.
I'm planning to do another set actually either this Friday or this Saturday. So come through if you would like to stop by and just kind of vibe with the music and that. Another way to check up or to catch up on the sets that I do is actually on my YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com/z, actually I'll type it in chat. So
Go ahead.
slash ZRWF3L. It's like my it was like my gaming name at one point, so I just uploaded everything through there. But yeah, look up that name. It could be under this as well. So Geelz with 3 E's. There you go. Um, and yeah, that's how you could see all my sets.
Cool.
Another way to another way to see them is just to ask, and I'll actually give you a bunch of like a folder with all of my DJ sets in them.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, I love to share my music, and if anybody out there is a DJ and would like to provide any insight or provide any like critiques on how I do my stuff, please let me know. Because the person who actually did teach me, she is unfortunately not DJing at the moment. She's actually a DJ from the Philippines. Her name is Pay Dobles. It's Pay Dobles, and she's really amazing, really great. She's my ate, so yeah.
All right. Now we're gonna transition to more heavy stuff again, but
Okay.
before that, are you still good?
Mhm.
All right, no break needed. We're good.
No break needed.
Here we go. So give us a rundown of relationships and possible heartbreaks you've been through. So starting from the beginning, just like how we talked about work and all that. And how do you met? What went down? How did it end? And then go to the next.
This is actually a very short answer
That's okay.
because I've never had any.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had experiences of heartbreak,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never had an actual like relationship where I was comfortable enough, where we were both comfortable enough to call it a actual like boyfriend girlfriend type thing. The closest person I ever had to that was actually the person I last dated, and obviously you'll know how that ended up. So yeah.
See.
Mhm.
So was there anyone else, like maybe in a talking stage or like a crush and stuff?
Um, I've had a few crushes before, and I've actually talked to some. Th- we're gonna talk about this later because you did mention Twitch and stuff. But I actually started out on Twitch because I was actually on Foosly's stream. I was allowed to be on her stream. I was allowed to be on Hello Megan Lee's stream. Her name was Angels Kimmy at the time, but she goes by Plushies now, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to be on all of their streams as well as Jana's, and there's Quarter Jades as well at one point, before they got like super big. And yeah, I was talking to somebody in that group, Things didn't work out because it turns out that a streamer was doing things and I didn't know about it. And
Mm-hmm.
so that talking just kind of ended there. I do have a Twitch crush right now. Um, and as much as I would like to say their name, as much as I would like to say their name, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't appreciate that in a podcast that it kind of immortalizes it. Um, one second, let me DM her and ask her. But yes,
Oh.
that plushies, that plushies.
Okay, so she already knows you have a Twitch like crush on her. I mean,
Yeah, she knows. She accidentally doxed it on my stream because I told her beforehand, and I there was just one time where there's one time where I was like, "Hey, should I just say it?" And then she comes in and was like, "Oh yeah, it's me."
but
And I was just like, uh, okay." So, yeah, and there's the confirmation for no, I will not say her name. So, yeah, I will not. She will be remaining anonymous. Yeah,
uh,
actually, wait, Kawhi, how'd you know? Fuck, it was Pokimane. I'm kidding. Uh, but yeah, um,
all right. So that was I was gonna say for later, but let me cross that out. Okay, so back to the relationship talks.
okay.
So other than that, since you mentioned that you weren't really officially in one, but
Mhm,
you have like some form of heartbreak.
mhm.
What did you learn from that? What would you say you've learned?
Trust no one. No, I'm kidding. The biggest thing, protect your heart because that would if you don't protect your heart and if you pour all of yourself into somebody that doesn't eventually like you back,
Yeah.
then you're just going to end up moping around and it will not be pretty for you at all in the short term. Like it's just a short term thing for heartbreaks, but at the same time it's like if you end up if you end up getting heartbroken and not protecting your heart, it's just going to be bad news, you know?
Mhm.
It's just gonna end up bad for you, and you never want that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I can possibly say. Protect your heart.
Okay. And to finish that up, what would you say? Like, what type of people are you attracted to? Like, what is your type? Could be traits or
Family
personality
oriented,
stuff. Mhm.
family oriented girls are usually what attracts me the most. Personality wise, funny, outgoing, bubbly. Um, Body type, I don't really have a body type. You could be tall, you could be short. Yeah, I really don't care. Um, Goofy is another one. Goofiness, silliness is something I easily fall for. But the biggest, I guess, non-measurable trait would be the smile and their eyes. If they could keep me interested just by smiling or just by like just looking at them, like they don't,
Mhm.
yeah, like it sounds really um I guess shallow for me to say the just like the looking at them part, but if they could make me laugh, if they could do all that stuff, if they know how to play games, if they can keep me up, if they could really just make me smile no matter what, then that's what really makes me not fall, but that's what really lets me like them. Um, Plus, if I'm actually their friend first, because I've tried not or I've tried having crushes on people who weren't my friends first,
Mhm.
and that did not end up pretty. Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, that would be the biggest thing I've learned, and the biggest thing that I actually fall for. So yeah.
All right, switching gears to another important topic.
Mhm.
So, how are you doing mentally as of now?
Pretty good. Of course, there's a lot of stresses that come with my job
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of stresses that have come with recent events. But overall, I would say I am pretty good. That's mainly because I have a support system on Twitch to keep me afloat, I guess. So big shout outs to my bestie Bonnie, my biggest bully slash hater, Kawhi, Mahal or Pika, Papa Bear, Sunny, Ray, like all those fun people, Domo, everybody that I've met so far. Um, you, like y'all have kept me afloat through a lot of really weird times. So yeah, yeah.
Right, that's good. And so, other than 2014, when you felt like you were at your lowest point, right?
Mhm.
Maybe in other days, occasions, how did you reel yourself out of that?
Um, honestly, talking to people.
Okay.
Because even though it's weird to call myself introverted and yet talking to people like kind of charges my battery when it's kind of both talking and not talking charges my battery. But yeah, like they help me put it all into perspective. And when I had my first experience with all that,
Mm-hmm.
I really I really put into perspective of all the people, or I really had to take stock of all the people who cared about me and who loved me.
Yeah.
And it really just let me think about what would happen or what would happen if I was gone, like the impact of what would come across.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've dealt with one of my first Twitch friends. Unfortunately, we lost her to suicide,
Mm.
and I'll never forget how that made me feel during that day. And there's not a day that goes by like I don't miss her because she was like my sister. So yeah, rest in peace, Lanny.
Okay. And this might sound redundant, but you've explained your experiences. But what advice would you give to those who might be struggling or just going through a dark time mentally?
This is a cliche to say, but time heals all pain. The pain that you are feeling right now may not necessarily be the pain you feel in the future, and it might not. Or sorry, not might not. It might not seem like it right now, but something little as talking to someone when you're feeling so freaking low will help you out. If nothing else, contact the suicide prevention line. I know that might not help some people. Talk to your closest friends about it. Talk to a professional about it. Talk to your parents about it. There's always going to be somebody who's willing to listen and hear you out because you are worth far more than you could ever possibly imagine in this world, no matter what. And if nothing else, think about it because you will be missed by anyone and everyone you've come in contact with.
Mhm.
You do have that impact on people, and you matter even though you don't think you matter. The impact you will have left makes a gigantic hole that nothing can replace. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay, so talk about how COVID has affected you or impacted you personally.
I'll be straight up here. I don't know how to socialize anymore if it's not online.
Hmm.
Like I went to New York for Electric Zoo, and holy
Yes.
crap, I completely forgot how to talk to people if it wasn't through a screen.
Mhm.
Like it was awkward as all hell from the time that I first arrived at the hotel with my rave fam and the first night. Like literally during dinner, we were talking, but nobody was there in the moment, you know? Everyone was just kind of talking or talking to talk or whatever. We all exchanged hugs, we all did all this stuff. People met new people. But damn, like I realized I forgot how to socialize, period. And I need to relearn how to do all that um, from not behind the screen. So that's why I've actually taken steps to um, plan out vacations to go to NorCal, SoCal, uh, DFW, Houston, New York, Florida, even Toronto, Alberta, just to visit some of the people that I've met over the course of COVID through Twitch. And I want to be able to get to know and meet people IRL that have changed my life or changed my life for the better.
Mhm.
And I want to be able to hug them, thank them, have fun with them, basically be a real life friend that I can finally like give a high five to, like physically give a high five to, not just the yeah or that thing, you know?
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yeah.
Gotcha. Any other impact from COVID?
Not really, in all honesty. Just like the social aspect is what really did it for
Mhm.
me.
Yeah.
That that really drove a lot of people insane. Um, and I know it affected a lot of my clients as well because they were all like really high strung indoors. They weren't able to do anything, and so the one thing, the one freedom that they had was to go out and do their own thing. But now that they're stuck in their room, they got nothing else to do because
Mhm.
a lot of them don't actually have anything in their room besides a bed. So there's nothing they could do from escaping that, you know?
Okay, transitioning topics. As of now, what are your current goals and aspirations in life?
My current goals and aspirations really align with my fears, in all honesty. So,
Mm-hmm.
my biggest fear, I was actually talking to someone about this the other night. My biggest fear is never having made an impact. Um, I know it's pretty counterintuitive to what I had just said about suicide prevention, but I genuinely am afraid that I haven't provided a big enough impact for people quite yet. And I'm not ready or I am not willing to say that I provided an impact at all
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much more I can do in this world as of right now. Um, there's a lot of like inequities that I need to help fix. There's a lot of people I need to know still. There's a lot of business I don't have done.
Yeah.
And I really just want to be able to like go out there, do more stuff for the community, for the people, and I want to be able to do more stuff on Twitch as well. Like, I want to host more community things. I want to do kind of like what you're doing, Wilson. If that makes any sense. And just I want to bring people together.
Yeah.
I already do that by connecting people, but the thing that you do with your community is honestly what I've seen second to none in terms of building a community, making sure everybody feels included, making sure there's a place for them on this platform, and I want to
Mhm.
help make that a thing as well.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Awesome.
that's the biggest thing I would want to do.
Okay, goals and aspirations. Talk about some of the traveling and adventures you've done. You mentioned like Italy and Chicago.
Mhm.
Was there anything else?
Like I said, I mean, I have family pretty much all over the nation and
Mm-hmm.
actually internationally as well. So I've visited places like New York, New Jersey. I have friends in North Carolina that I visited in early on in COVID. Just may have been a mistake. Um, I've been to Vancouver multiple times, just because I live like 3 hours away from the border, or from like the way I drive, like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay.
Um, I have friends in NorCal, SoCal. I actually drove up and down the Pacific Highway, Pacific Coast Highway, from San Francisco to LA. with my friend Charmaine, and that was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had because we started at noon and we got there around sunset during that time, so that was really cool. Um, what else? I've gotten to I've gotten to eat at some amazing restaurants. Like the first steakhouse, or sorry, one of the first steakhouses in the nation I actually went to, called Delmonico's in New York. When I traveled by myself, I went there. I've gotten to eat at some amazing places in LA. There was another place in New York that I went to called Kote. It's a Korean barbecue place where they sell like almost exclusively Wagyu products. So that was really fun. In Chicago, I actually got to eat at this three or two Michelin starred restaurant that's like Japanese Filipino fusion. So that was like the best pancit I've ever had, the best kare kare, the best like a lot of the best Filipino food I've ever had came from over there. Um, I've had my favorite taco spot is down in LA, Taco Zibiria on Union, I believe. Um, and yeah, honestly, I just love to go around and adventure my way through a lot of cities, just taking pics wherever I go and just enjoying myself. Like, yeah, when I was in LA, I traveled basically all over Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Pasadena, all the rich parts. Went to Long Beach. I actually stayed in Long Beach because that's where my friend was. That's where my friend lives, and I hung out with them most of the time. Huntington Beach went there. San Diego went down to TwitchCon. That was really fun. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. In all honesty, I just go around, do me,
Yeah.
adventure around, and get lost.
Okay, how about top destinations you want to travel to?
Globally or just in the US?
Globally.
Globally, I want to go back to the Philippines to travel to with my friends.
Mhm.
So yeah, so the Philippines is definitely up there. Japan is another place. Korea is another place. I want to be able to go to Toronto, not because it's the ABG and ABB capital of the world, but because it's where a lot of like Asian culture is, and I want to be able to go there. I want to be able to go to. Um, I eventually want to go to France, Paris to be exact, to visit the Louvre and all that, the Eiffel Tower. Um, let's see. I want to go to Israel, mainly because of that's like the birthplace of Judaism, and I want to be able to get something for my mom just because it's a very spiritual mecca in Israel. So I want to go there. I want to be able to go to Rio de Janeiro. That's gonna be a cool. That's got to be a cool spot. Um, and then the last three places are actually in the U.S. I want to eventually go to NOLA to experience carnival life. I guess I want.
Mardi Gras and stuff.
Yeah, Mardi Gras and stuff. I want to go to Orlando because I've actually never been to Disney World, and I want to go to Disney World a lot. And then I also want to go to Dallas Fort Worth or Houston, and that's or Texas in general because I want to be able to go. I just want to be able to go to Texas because I hear a lot of things about or a lot of great things about that place, and I want to be able to visit those areas. And yeah,
Nice. Transitioning to social media. Aside from Twitch, what platforms are you currently active on?
I'm currently active aside from Twitch on Instagram and Twitter. I'm trying to be more active on those fronts. But yeah, that's a goal of mine for 2022 is to build more of a platform on those two things.
Instagram and Twitter. Okay.
Mhm.
And what made you decide to make two different Instagram accounts?
Mainly because my family and IRLs were annoyed with me posting gaming content on my personal Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah, because
okay.
there was one point where they were getting pretty annoyed with all the stuff about like, hey, tune in to twitch.tv/MrGeelz or GeelzB, blah blah blah. So they were just like, is there a way you can like separate it?" So I was like, okay, I'll make a TTV account. But over time, I have actually diverted that change back, and I've started to use my personal Insta more for
Yeah.
Twitch. And then whenever I take photos or something, I actually use my photography Instagram, which is jowlsb.jpg. That just shows my adventures when I go when I take pictures and do portraits and stuff with my friends and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you guys ever want to do a photo shoot, let me know, and I got you. I'll bring my camera and stuff. So yeah. Mhm. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Here it is. We're gonna talk about Twitch.
All right.
Alright. How did you come across the platform and what made you decide to start streaming?
So I came across the platform back when it was actually Justin.tv, way back in like I think 2012. I think I don't know. It was one of those times when I was just trying to watch more Call of Duty content because I was really big into the scene and I wanted to watch people stream and stuff just to get to know everything. So I made my first account back in like 2012, and this is like my third or fourth account. I forgot because the other ones were banned either for trolling or just me being stupid in general. So this is my third or fourth account, and this actually wasn't my original name. My original name was actually Geelz B, and that's how some streamers knew me. Um, so back in 2018, I started getting back into Twitch again for a random reason. I forgot why. I think it was because I was watching a Twitch streamer on YouTube, and they're like, "Hey, subscribe to me on twitch.tv/blah blah blah." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I went. I actually met a lot of people from offline TV and Just Friends when they were still a thing. But this was like back before Quarter Jade actually joined Just Friends, so I didn't know who she was at the time. But when she started getting a lot of traction, that's when I started to watch and follow them a lot more, and that's actually when I had a chance to talk to some of those like really big streamers. Like I
Yeah.
became friends with a few of them, and it was actually really cool going to TwitchCon. I went to TwitchCon, ended up just talking with Kimmy, Leslie. I ended up talking with Bed at one point, Lily, Smoothie, just all their friends and stuff. And I was at one of the parties, and I think I talked to Leslie for about an hour
Wow.
about streaming and how like nervous I was, and I don't know if I should do it, blah blah blah. And she
Uh-huh.
actually gave me the courage to say, hey, you know what, you did really well in my stream. I think you have a really good knack for it, blah blah blah. I'm like, and that's really all that or all the push I needed was for someone that big to say, hey, I think you have what it takes.
Mhm.
So that's why I did it. I've actually bought a Blue Yeti from TwitchCon on like a 25% discount. I forgot what. And yeah,
Mhm.
and that's why I started streaming. And it took me 3 months to get affiliate, but now I'm here. Now I'm excited and happy for everybody that I've met, and a lot of people that I could call really close friends, and a lot of like really cool nicknames for each other. And yeah, I love it.
So, as of now, what categories are you streaming and what is your schedule looking like?
Category wise, I would say that I'm mostly Valorant right now,
Mhm.
but I actually do everything from music streams. So I sometimes sing on here. I sometimes do DJ screen. I can't talk. Sometimes do DJ streams, just chatting streams. Sometimes I play Apex. Once in a blue moon, I do Fortnite. I do other random games with friends and stuff, but for the most part, it's just Valorant.
Mhm.
As for schedule, my schedule as of right now is Friday through Sunday, 7:30 to whenever I decide to get tired, and then Thursday and Monday are variable streams. So if I'm not able to stream either on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, then I'll usually stream on Thursday or Monday to help catch up for that and make up for it.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, that's my schedule as of right now.
Okay, so you've been on Twitch for 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Going on
So,
3.
how would you describe like your entire experience, like what you've been through? It could be the ups and downs, and maybe you changed over the years.
Um, this is ever since I've been streaming, right? Correct?
Yeah, you could do that, and plus the
Okay.
3 years on Twitch.
Okay. So ever since I've been streaming, which was since 20 or late 2019, um, I've noticed that it's very click based. So it's more about who you know rather than what you know. Like, sure, it every now and then someone will be discovered for not doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, if you know somebody, chances are they'll take you to another stream, which will take you to another stream, which will take you to another stream. And that's actually how I've gotten to be a part of a bunch of different communities in the first place. Unfortunately, on the other side of that, there's the whole drama that happens. And there's all those things that come, there's the downside that comes with socializing with a lot of people. Like with me, I'm kind of the middleman for a lot of things because I try to be more impartial. I try to be more impartial to whoever comes in, and if people start drama, then I'm like, oh, okay, it's understandable they do this, this, and this. But yeah, there's just a lot of drama that unfolds, which is really unfortunate. Which I thought, because I thought we were past that, but I would say that's like the worst part about being a streamer, just because it really takes a toll on your mental, especially if drama unfolds around you itself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like it causes people to stop being friends, to stop streaming, to this, to that, and it's sad to see some people kind of end their whole career just like that because they decided to do a few dumb decisions.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. As for my entire time on Twitch, overall, it's been nothing but delight.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've met people, or like I said, I've met people that I wouldn't change who I've met for the world.
Yeah.
It's those decisions I have made, from joining raids, from joining different communities that have brought me to where I am today, and that have brought me to amazing streams such as Wilson Chang, or such as yourself. And through you, I've met a lot of people as well, like the whole your whole tournament, the whole Chain Gang tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like my team, I fucking love them. Like Papa Bear, Sunny, Ray, I talk to them all like pretty much daily now.
Yeah.
Plastify, I've started talking to him more. Sphinx, I've started talking to him more. A lot of other people that I've met through the tournament as well. Like I seen she's on my team for this tournament. Cataclan, I talked to her a lot. Kawhi is one of my best friends. Like I've met so many cool people, and quite frankly, yeah, just huge hats off to you for pulling together a community like you have. I don't know how you do it, but yeah.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Okay, so talk about your name, how it ended up being MrGeelz.
So Jeels is a nickname that one of my friends gave to me, and that's mainly because she wasn't able to pronounce my name. She saw that my name, or the thing about our or my Filipino org is that we would always write our names on a name tag, and since mine's Gyles, there's a whole bunch of different pronunciations that she would, or that everyone would say. They would say, "Oh, guy," like the most common mispronunciation is Giles, by far. But I've gotten anything from Giles to Gillies to Gills to Giles to, for some for someone whose English wasn't their first language, they called me Hiles for a while. Um, and she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stick with Jeels because I don't know how to pronounce your name. And I'm like, okay, you know what, it's whatever. Like, yeah, she knows my name is Giles and she knows how to pronounce it, but she just calls me Jeels.
Yeah.
Um, as for what people call me on here, it's the same thing. People still don't know how to pronounce my name correctly sometimes. Like people still say Geels. I've gotten Glees a lot more recently. Um, uh, GLs, that was an interesting one. Geelzy, that was another one. And my favorite one was when Fusli called me MrGeelz a lot. So yeah,
You've accepted them all.
I've accepted them all. As long as you know how to actually say my name. If you
Yeah,
call me another one, I don't mind it. But I always have to correct people no matter what until they know my actual name.
gotcha.
Yeah, so you know my actual name. I don't mind you calling me MrGeelz, like, because it's you know my name. So
Hmm.
what's the harm in allowing you to mispronounce my screen name? You know.
Okay, so talk about the association with community.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, why I'm in the
like
community
what
and all
is
that?
that, and how did you get a like associated with that? KIM.
Yeah, so the community is actually what Angels Kimmy calls her stream team, the community. So you'll see people like Fusli, Pokimane, all like Igum Drop, all of them in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like she invited people. She actually asked me if I wanted to be part of her stream team. I'm like, yeah, sure, put me in there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I said yes, and here I am. I don't get many views from them anymore since I actually stopped talking to that community. Um, Not for any dramatic reason. It was literally just because we just kind of lost touch and it
Yeah.
stopped coming through, and things just kind of happened to where we don't talk anymore. And yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so talk about the day ones on Twitch who you still talk to today then. So you've been here for a while.
Quite honestly, I don't talk to my day ones all too much anymore, but they're actually the four of them who are my day ones will stay my mods forever. And those are Tiffany Rose Flame, Surreal Fate, Luminous Clarity, and Pili Lichu. The main reason why do not, I will ever refuse to unmod them is because they were literally the four people that would come into my stream day in day out. And even though Fate, he's actually on a move to Arizona, so I don't see him much. Tiff does her own thing. Pilly is busy with his own life, and so is June or Luminous Clarity. Um, and they're actually I actually met all four of them at TwitchCon. I actually met Tiffany through one of our other friends, Tifa Mella. She's based in SoCal as well. But yeah, like I love those guys. They're never gonna be unmodded for me because I have that much love for them, and I'm a perma mod in Tiffany's chat for sure, just because she doesn't know how to really work Discord or Twitch, and so she'll DM me whenever she needs help, and I'm always there to help out. So yeah.
Nice.
Hmm.
Okay, so talk about some of the Twitch meetups you've already had experiences too.
So my first Twitch meetup was actually when I went to SoCal, and I actually visited Tiffany because I was actually down there for a job interview anyway. So I was like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, I'll just stay around there. Um, Visited her. We got KBBQ, talked a lot, hung out a lot, and we didn't get to meet many other people. I literally just kind of went around there, and once I finished my day with her, then I went around LA, not knowing anybody else.
Hmm.
Other Twitch meetups, or the second time was actually during TwitchCon, and that's when I met everybody, including like partners. I got to meet Valkyrie. That was really fun. Nate Shot, got to meet him again. I got to meet all of Offline TV and all of Just Friends because I went to one of their parties. When I went to the TwitchCon after party, I got to hang out with Hello Megan Lee and all of Just Friends for a while. So that was really cool. But outside of TwitchCon, honestly, I've only met two other people or one other person from Twitch, and that would be it's Vivian underscore. One of my friends. I met her when she raided me randomly one day with like 50 people, and she's really dope. Um, Unfortunately, we don't talk as much anymore, and we're not currently on speaking terms as of now. But um, I appreciate her and everything that she has done for me and my stream, and I will never forget all the good times that we actually have spent together,
Mhm.
either online or offline. Um, yeah, I do plan to meet, like I said, I do plan to meet a bunch of other Twitch people as the year goes on and in
Yeah.
the future as well. So yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Um, talk about some of your favorite memories from Twitch so far on the top of your head.
Favorite Twitch memories? Well, one that I could come up with in an instant was winning the Chang tournament.
Mhm.
Hashtag bot frags for life. Um, but yeah, that's one that really sticks in my mind because that caused me to really go out of the way and meet new people that I literally have not met before on Twitch at all. Like I've heard of Plastify, but I never actually played or understood how good of a player he was until the tournament.
Yeah.
I've seen Famsors in a few other streams, but I never really got to talk to him or know him until now. Same thing with Papa Bear Sunny, as I'm in your stream, but that was about it. Um, Another one of my favorite moments was getting my first sub. Uh, Tam, if you're watching this, first of all, fuck you. I'm kidding. But y- you're my first sub, and much love to you, dude. Like you're never gonna be forgotten. Um, I've met some of my closest friends on here. So people like Kawhi, I've known her since probably August or something. No, August or September. Um, yeah, just like meeting everybody in and of itself is a great day for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's too many people to list out. People who've impacted my life on Twitch, even if I don't talk to them anymore. People or some people like O'Melon, OMG, it's Jam Jam TV, um, Angels Kimmy, she highly impacted it. I Gumdrop, Hello Megan Lee. You guys remember Edison or Fusi's ex-husband? He was a big part of it as well. Um, and yeah, those are just a few of the shout outs that I have, along with like Pikachu. Pikachu, I've started to talk to her more and more recently. China, I only started talking to her like about a week ago. She's already one of the sweetest people I know. Same with Papa Bear Sunny. I've only talked to him for like a month or so. One of the sweetest guys I know. Um, and yeah, there's just too many people to mention at once. And if I left you out, I am so sorry. Because words cannot describe how grateful I am and how thankful I am to have met every single one of you. And I hope to meet everybody else more. Or I hope to meet everybody else in the future or soon. Because y'all are fucking amazing. And I fucking love every one of you. It's like I have in my shout out command in my stream. I fucking love you. And that's because whenever someone comes to my stream, I'm extremely grateful for anyone and everyone to come in. Because without y'all, I wouldn't stream at all. So thank you guys so much. Y'all are fucking amazing.
Well said. Okay. So you mentioned some of like the downsides, like Twitch, like the drama, right?
Mhm.
How would you list the pros and cons of streaming based on your own experience?
The pros and cons of streaming. One of them one of the biggest pros would be meeting people, networking. But you also need to have networking skills to actually navigate around that. So that's why I've said at first, it's better to know people. Wait, it's not about how you get to people, it's how you know people. If that makes any sense. Wait,
Like, get
it's
to
not
know
about
them?
what you. Sorry, it's not about what you know. It's who you know. There you go. That's what I said. Holy crap. Um, but yeah, that's like I think for me that's it's a double-edged sword really. Because if you can't network, then you can't really meet new people, and your community can't really grow. But at the same time, if you do have the necessary skills, even to just show up in chats, most people are super accommodating and super willing to get to know you on a personal level. People on Twitch, I met some of the nicest people on earth because of it. Some of the most wholesome people on earth because of it. And that is what I would say the biggest up is. Aside from the drama, the I think the biggest down or the biggest down of Twitch aside from drama would actually be the numbers aspect of all things.
Mhm.
When you first start, you're driven by the numbers. You're driven by everything, anything and everything that has to do with your viewer count, how many hours you stream, what content you do, what you like doing this, doing that.
Yeah.
When in actuality, you should be just focused on doing what's fun for yourself. And if streaming's not for you, it's not for you. You know? Um, yeah, like for me, even if I had 0 viewers, like there's times where I don't have any viewers at all. Sure, I'll get a little sad, but at the same time, you know what? I'm playing with friends. I'm having fun. I'm having the time of my life. I'm playing with people I met from this platform. So I'm happy no matter what, you know? Um, Another big upside for me would be lurkers. Because without lurkers, there are no chats. Because since everybody is obsessed with numbers, then lurkers having count as 0 viewers would honestly just tank everybody's viewer count. And I like I said, for me right now, I have about 13, 15 people right now. I want to say a good amount of them are lurking, and a lot of them a big reason is because a lot of them are on your stream. I'm grateful for those lurkers because first of all, they help me. They help me realize that I have people that care about me on Twitch enough to keep my stream actually open. And for two, like, even if you're not streaming for anybody, if you raid at the end of the night and you see people there lurking or raiding with you, you give them viewers as well. Yeah, and that's how I see lurkers.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. Um, Other than that, though, honestly, one of the bigger downsides I see from Twitch would probably be seeing people tilt. Because there's some people that I personally know, they might be amazing people, but at the same time, if they tilt in games too much, then they're not going to be fun to watch. Unless they're the type of unless they're the type of rager that is really entertaining to watch. If that makes any sense. Like people like XQC, he's funny as hell when he tilts, when he rages. But then there are people, I'm not going to say who, but there are people who rage, and they'll rage at their teammates. They'll be just toxic for no reason whatsoever. And those are the people who I honestly don't have any fun watching, you know? And yeah, that's one of the other bigger things I don't like about Twitch. Other than that, though, 95% of Twitch is great. It's just the 5%. Also, Sunny, you do not rage at your teammates. You meet all of them with love. You kill everybody with love and respect. That's what I love about you.
Yay. So you've mentioned before that you dealt with like hate raids.
Mm-hmm.
There are trolls and hate on Twitch. Have you experienced anything specifically on the Twitch platform to that degree? And if so, how did you handle the situation then?
With the hate raids, first of all, I turned off my camera because I didn't want to see people. I didn't want people to see me being like all depressed and just kind of down for no apparent reason, other than these stupid people who went around hating for no other intention, just to hate and troll. Second of all, there's people who actually voluntarily came in and said, "Hey, if you need a mod, let me know." Like a few of my friends who I just met say, "Hey, if you need a mod, let me help you clear these bots." And that's actually how I met some of my mods right now. So shout out to Mommy Sherry or Maddie and Boba Girl or Tina. They really helped me through that hate raid by banning every single freaking account that raided, and that was about like 200-300 bots. There's another time where I had like a 1600 bot raid, a 1600 follower bot raid. So that wasn't fun, but they helped me out through that as well. And that was actually Surreal Fate that helped me out through that one. So the people helped me out in that one, just to help me what to do, help me what to realize, help me do this and do that, just the little things. That's what I greatly appreciate about my mods and stuff.
All right. So, would you say that streaming can affect you mentally sometimes, aside from, I guess, the number aspects? Like, in what way can you think of, like, your mental? It could go down. When?
Games are stressful. That's
Hmm.
the biggest thing, especially if you play Riot games. So, League, Val, TFT. I've seen people rage like hell in those games, and that's mainly because they're obsessed with their performance and whether or not they'll do bad. That's the biggest thing about the mental that I've seen. Other than numbers and stuff, people getting people. I have a friend actually. I'm not gonna say her name, but she always gets discouraged whenever there's no talkers in her chat. I feel like everybody gets discouraged when nobody's talking in the chat, but she herself like has thought multiple times about quitting because she only gets like one or two people talking, and it's usually just her mods. And yeah, like people chatting, people talking to you to make a really big impact on how your mental is, especially if you get a taste of how many viewers you could have. Cause like yeah, it's just something that can wreck your mental if you're not careful with it. Um, for me, the way I deal with it, I just try to. I honestly play with friends. I turn music on. I just try to entertain and I try to be myself until someone does come in. Because when someone does come in, how you are when how you are and how you act when somebody does come in really sets the tone for whether somebody is going to come back and stream and chat more, or not necessarily stream but chat more in your chat, or them just leaving and never coming back. So I love to try to keep the vibes up whenever I can. I love to try to keep chat interactive as much as I can, and when no one's in there I just do my thing,
Hmm.
hopefully, and hope someone comes in. And because if someone comes in, they're stuck here. I'm kidding. But if someone does come into my chat, then I try to make sure that they get the most attention
Uh-huh.
that they can get from me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Alright, so I know that you've had your differences with your parents when it came to, like, gaming COD, right? Do they, or did they have any thoughts about you streaming? Are they aware that you stream?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's actually gotten to the point where my dad always asks if I'm streaming.
Oh.
Yeah. But at the same time, he's always had he had his reservations on it until he realized I can make money off it.
Hmm. I see.
Yeah. So he at first he wasn't okay with it at all. He was like, "Oh wait, you're just sitting in front of the computer playing games, blah blah blah." And I'm just like, "Yes and no. I stream, but at the same time, I it's tough to convey that to your parents, especially
Hmm.
that you could actually help people through streaming. Like you give them something to watch. And in some cases, you have conversations with them that could actually just like change their mental for the day. And that's
Yeah.
somewhat, yeah. But once money started coming in like monthly, as like a side hustle for me, then they're just like, oh, okay, you're streaming, cool. And hell, I even get my cousins coming in here, like my cousins
Hmm.
Rob and Jason. They come here a lot. Even when my cousin Rob was in the Navy and halfway across the world, like he would pop in every once in a while when I was streaming at like weird random hours and sub, say hi, ask how I've been,
Yeah.
yeah. That's how I would talk to him for like 2 years. And now that he's here, like I'm actually planning to move in with him probably in the next couple months. So, yeah.
Oh, big changes. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, a few more questions about Twitch.
Hmm.
So, what are your thoughts when it comes to guys versus girls on the platform? Just from hearing that, your general thoughts.
My general thoughts on being a guy versus being a girl.
Yeah.
Um, by far, girls have to deal with 5 million bajillion % more harassment. Just by far, that's a given. I'm not even gonna try to attempt to say that it's a lot easier being a girl on here, because whilst there are some girls who can meet a bunch of initial success, those same girls will be met with a bunch of backlash and a bunch of shit that guys don't have to deal with necessarily. Like, there's some stories I hear from girls, some my friends who are girls, that are absolutely terrifying. I personally don't, I don't know how to deal with half the shit that some of my friends would deal with. So yes, it is true, just based on statistics and from what I've seen, that it's easier to grow if you're a girl initially. It's a lot harder at the same time. So I think it's harder being a girl on Twitch than being a guy.
All right, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry if that opinion is divisive at all, but yeah.
No. It's good to hear what you have to say just in general. All right, next question. So, with your experience, what advice would you give to those who are trying to grow on the platform and are just getting started with Twitch streaming?
Networking is your best friend. That's the #1 tip I have for newcomers. Because, like what I said, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. And if you know people who are willing to bring people to your stream and to check people out, then that's going to be a big dub for you in the both in the short and long term. As for other things, going into chats and socializing, that helps a lot. If you just stay in your own bubble, how do you expect to grow? You grow by branching out and adventuring forth and trying to meet new people and going outside of your comfort zone. That's another thing too. Go outside of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
Try new things that you haven't tried before, and maybe it'll stick. Another thing is try to find your niche or niche. Yeah, try to find your niche in the Twitch community. Like, you can't really expect to do one thing one day, do another thing another day, and try to unless you're already established, that's not really gonna work, because you're not gonna find growth within the short term from people, unless you have an established community from the community of people who already go to watch that one thing. The last thing would be to watch what games are popular at the moment. And that it's kind of counterintuitive to what I said about find your niche, but be open to trying new things as well. Don't be so locked in to one thing. Because if you're tired of it, what are you gonna like? What are you gonna do next stream? Just do the same thing? You're not gonna want to do something that tilts you more, you know?
Mhm.
And yeah, just find new things.
Yay. So my next question. So what are your thoughts, or what's your opinion of, like, you know how there's big time streamers?
Mm-hmm.
Big names, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have small streamers. What do you think classifies as like a mid-tier or the next level as a streamer?
Wait, so they're between, so like the level between big and small streamers?
Like, what's the next step to get to like a mid-level
A
streamer?
mid-tier?
Yeah. What do they have that small streamers don't have? I'm just trying to pick your brain on this.
A partnership.
Okay.
Like, to me, somebody could have 50 viewers a stream
Mhm.
and still be affiliate. But if you're partnered, if you have that check mark, then that means you've at least had at least a month where there was 75 plus people coming to you every single day.
Yeah.
And if you are a good mid-tier streamer, then I mean, hell, even if you're a small time streamer and you hit numbers like that periodically, I think people should try to make that step, should try to make that push. Like you, for example, I know that you could probably make it as a partnered streamer, just because like I know that like it's like I was saying, like you're one of the most community driven people I know. And so I think that you could be a really good mid to high level streamer. You already put all the time and effort into it, might as well push for it, you know? Um, sorry, that's just my opinion on that. But other than that, though, it's like if you're able to keep people's attention, just try to push forward with it by improving who you are as a person, improving who you are as a streamer by upgrading your setup, upgrading your gameplay if you can, and try to make things a little more accessible. I think that's the main difference between um, I think that's the main difference between big and small streamers. They make things very accessible for their viewers. And if you have that presence on social media, then you are very accessible. So yeah.
All right. And the last question for the people.
Woo!
All right. So how does it feel to be famous?
I'm not famous whatsoever. Like I think it's like high school all over again, where I just kind of know people, and yeah, I just kind of know people, and if they know me, then it's cool. If they don't, then they don't, and I'll give them a chance to get to know me. You know? Um, yeah, I just like to go around and vibe. I like to go around and do my own thing, and if my friends tell me to check out this person because they think they're cool, then cool. Like to me, if somebody's, let's just say, I actually have two people in my chat right now. If Jazzetama or Kawaii Poop, big shout out to them by the way, if they say, "Hey Giles, you should check out this person or that person," I am much more likely to go to their friend streams,
Yeah.
just because, like, I trust them. So
Mhm.
yeah, like if they say, "Hey, go here," then of course. Oh, actually, somebody in your chat right now, Pesky Karen. I just met him a few days ago. He's fucking dope. I met him through Kate Lame, and she told me to go to his stream because she thought we would vibe, and we're fucking dope. Like he's a fucking dope ass guy. I love him. I love Kevin. He's dope.
What's up, Kevin? Welcome in.
Big shout out to Pesky Karen, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you, Simon. All right, that wraps up the Twitch conversation. So we'll briefly go into Valorant for now.
Okay.
All right, favorite agent and least favorite agent.
Brimstone's my favorite. Brim is me, Daddy Brim, whatever you want to call him. Um, and that's mainly because I've had an amazing teacher. Big shout out to Domo, who's kind of taught me the ins and outs of how to play the agent. Unfortunately for me, I'm not at that level yet, so I'm not as good as he wants me to be as of right now. But he's still my favorite agent just because okay. Literally, if you use him correctly, his kit is really hard and annoying to play against. Because his smokes, first of all, as a defender, you never want to push back, or you never want to push past his smokes. Same thing as an attacker, you never want to push past his smokes because you never know what's lurking inside of there or outside of there. His Molly, you've seen in the tournament, Mr. Lineup Player over here, like, people call sometimes, like, I've been called a sadist in a game because apparently I just love to watch people burn. And then Stimmies, like, I mean, there's only KO and Reyna that have their ultimates to let them shoot faster and somewhat move faster, but Brim just has an ability you can purchase for 100 credits and boom, instant thing for everybody. Even though it's temporary, everybody gets it, you know? As for least favorite agent, I actually think most agents are balanced, but the biggest one I have trouble with would probably be KJ. I, I love KJ too. The only reason she's my least favorite is because if I have a KJ with me, because I'm usually the bomb bitch, I usually try to get the bomb down as much as I can, and I always die to KJ mollies.
Uh,
Like from the tournament, I think I died. I was going through a VOD review on Bind. I died to Kevin's mollies like 3 or 4 times while planting the bomb. I got the bomb down, but I died. So, yeah.
AJ.
Yeah. Not necessarily my least favorite agent. I love it. I love KJ,
Hmm.
but my least favorite agent to play against.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hmm.
Okay, so aside from that, which agent do you think's the actual best in the game and the worst?
Actual best agent in the game would probably be Neon or Jet.
Okay.
As much as some people would like to say Reyna because she could self heal, she could do this, she could do that.
Hmm.
If you know how to control Jet, there's honestly there's no way to like counter her aside from Cypher, but even then Cypher was kind of nerfed, or yeah, Cypher was kind of nerfed for her because I mean her kit's just freaking insane, and the fact that she could fly around too, like that's no, there's no way you could do that. As for Neon, first of all, like her finger thing,
Yeah.
it's wow.
Wow.
She just demolishes everything. If you have good tracking, then you're a god tier with that already. But yeah, like both of those, since they're movement based agents in a movement based game, it's pretty insane what they could do to not be countered. Like even though KO could count is a hard counter to Neon, if you have a good Neon, then it's really hard to counter her even with KO. And if you have me playing Neon, Neon's pretty much useless. So yeah. What was the least
The
useful agent?
worst. Yeah. Worst agent in the
S-
game.
As much as I hate to say it, but unless you're some sort of god with him, then Cypher. Because like his stuff is all very short range. Like sure he could like he could put his stuff on sites and everything. But if you don't know how to use his kick correctly, you're gonna have a bad time no matter who you're facing. No matter what. Like, I know I had a decent game when we had those scrims on Split. I think Split Haven are his two best maps. I think Fracture might get up there as well, depending on where you go. But yeah, it's
Okay.
like, yeah, it's just hard to play. You need to have big brain for him, and I do not have big brain. I have small brain. So yeah. I'm good for using my iPad and looking at the sky and going Molly, and that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, favorite gun and least favorite.
Favorite gun, Bucky. Pre-nerf Bucky. So my friend Bao and I would actually just literally run around and we would go Bucky all game, even on like Bind, where Buckies are like they're nearly useless. This is like before Breeze came out though. And yes, Bucky 1.0 gang, but we would have so much fun just running around Bucky's. And there's actually a saying that Bao and I have that like whenever we were in team chat or whenever we're in a party with new people that he hasn't played with before, he'd be like, "Well, have you guys heard of an automatic Bucky before?" So me and him, what we would do, we would literally go down B-long, set up on in garden. He would shock them with breach, and then we would just rush out of garden and literally just spray people down with Buckies. That's it. And I think we've gotten at least like 2 or 3 aces, like team aces, just by ourselves with that. And yeah, when the Bucky got nerfed, a little piece of us died with it as well. So yeah, my least favorite gun, just because I thought it was useless for the longest time, was the Ares, and that's because I can never figure out how to use it. Even when it was like buffed to hell,
Hmm.
I could not get any kills with it whatsoever. I didn't know like whether or not I was ADSing or whether I was not ADSing at a proper time or just whether I should burst fire more. Like I just couldn't get it. I really don't. Like
Mhm.
it's not that I don't like the Ares, it's just my least favorite gun to use because I just cannot get a kill with it. Like ask anyone, ask my comp stack, ask like my duos who I play comp with. If I ever have an Ares, I've given up.
Mhm.
So yeah,
All right. Best skin set in the game.
that would be a tie between the Prime and the Reaver set
Okay.
because you cannot go wrong with Daddy Jeff Bezos, and you cannot go wrong with how clean the Reaver looks, especially with the Taco Bell sound. I'm hungry for Taco Bell now.
Rank your maps. Favorite to least.
Favorites, least favorite?
Yeah, favorite to least favorite.
Um, favorite map? Okay, so let me list all of them out. So Haven, okay, favorite to least. Haven, Bind, Ascent, Icebox. Haven, Bind, Ascent, Icebox. Ble I almost said Bleeze. Breeze, Split, Fracture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason Split is ranked so low, even
Mm-hmm.
though I love the map conceptually, I absolutely suck at it. I don't know why, but whenever I have Breeze, I just completely fumble the bag. Or sorry, whenever I have Split, I absolutely fumble the bag. Fumble the bag. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Haven and Bind are my two favorites just because I I have at least 2 or 3 spots for every single lineup I have on those two maps.
Mm-hmm.
So fire's gonna be raining from the sky wherever you go on those maps. So yeah. I also have like it's funny because I have two counter mollies from B site to A site on bind
Yeah.
that nobody ever sees coming. And if I ever get somebody in a comp game that, or if I ever get the right A opponent in a comp game and they die in that thing, then they do nothing but try to make me mad for the rest of the game, and it's actually fun to try to feed on people's saltiness. So yeah.
I see. Okay, so final question about Valorant. So, so when is the matchup between Bottom Fraggers and Bussy Princesses?
I know Alyssa has school,
Mm-hmm.
so whenever she is free, I am down for it.
Yeah, you guys
Like,
scrimmed before, right?
oh yeah, we scrimmed actually like a few days before the tourney.
Like full 5v5?
A full 5v5, yeah.
And how'd
It
that
was a
go?
full 5v5. I think we won both games. The first one was actually kind of trolly because we all rouletted. We ended up winning that map, I think like 13-6 or something like that. But the second game was on Ascent, and it's funny because I wish I was able to find, if I could find the VOD,
Yeah.
there's a point in there with me saying, damn, I think they're going to win the girls' tourney.
Oh.
Just because, first of all, I mean, Kawhi is Kawhi. She's going to do her thing. Iseen and Kat, what the hell? Like, I didn't know who they are, but damn, I knew who they are right after. Pika, this girl was getting kills with the Ares before it was relevant. I don't know how she does it. And Lena just ran around doing her own thing and just bopping everybody in the head. So, I mean, yeah, like you can't really go wrong with that team.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, I think that was the point. That was the point where I was like, yeah, I think our team is going to make a deep run too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna talk about the last few random questions that I have. So if anyone in chat has a question, feel free to at me and ask away, and then I'll present them. All right. Biggest pet peeve.
Biggest pet peeve?
Mhm.
Um, whenever you're out with somebody, they can't stop looking at their phone.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be the biggest pet
That's a
peeve.
good one. Okay.
Yeah, because I've been in that situation before.
Mhm.
Not fun, and it's really awkward.
Quote. Best quote that you live by.
I like to steal the mantra that Miss Kawaii Poop or Alyssa has, and that's live fast, eat ass.
All right, and the meaning behind it.
There is really no meaning behind it. She just kind of said it in a in one of her streams and just kind of stuck. And I fucking love that mantra. I love Kawaii. She's fucking awesome. She has the best content in her stream, I swear to God. But yeah, that's pretty
Nice.
much it.
Okay, how about your greatest accomplishment in life and greatest failure / regret?
My greatest accomplishment in life was actually joining the Filipino American Student Association. And it's basically for the reasons that I said. They are. I look at them like my little brothers and sisters. I love them. I literally wouldn't be here without them today.
Very nice.
Yeah. Greatest regret. Probably not living out a high school that I should have.
Okay.
I was the quiet kid that just knew everybody, but at the same time, I never had any friends. Really, to be honest. And yeah, I wish I would have lived high school a little more in the moment rather than just being so paranoid about what my parents thought about every single little thing I did.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, down to my last three. So, what was your first impression of me?
Holy shit, this guy's famous. No, but in all
There's
honesty,
no way.
My first impression of you was that you came off of as one of the sweetest and most wholesome people I ever met. Literally in the first like 5 minutes. I don't know how, but it was just amazing to just see how you connected with people, and yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, that's why I think that you should be a partner. You should be a partner streamer for sure. Hashtag Wilson Chang for partner 2022, y'all. Partner push 2022.
All right, here we go. So, as of recent, who's in the top 5 of like streamers that you find yourself watching the most?
Ooh. Top 5 streamers who I find myself watching the most?
Yeah, nowadays, because you're probably busy doing your own thing too, so you only have like very limited time watching people, you know?
I'm actually looking at my DM list right now, and I'm trying to see who they are. Because honestly, as of right now, I've spent the most time probably watching Kawaii, Jazzetama. Sorry, in the past year. So Kawaii, Jazzetama, Simply April Days, You, and Miss Potato Tot. And that's not because of any bias or anything. It's mainly because I just find myself going to you guys' streams more than others.
Yeah.
And again, it's no real bad among any other people that I see, but y'all just kind of stream more than everybody else. So that's why I watch you guys more.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Alrighty. And for the last question, using your connection, Who would you like to see as a potential future guest on this podcast, and why?
You know how I said that it's all about going out of your comfort zone?
Mm-hmm.
Kawaii Poop.
Nice. Yeah, she's still thinking on it, so.
Yeah. Knowing her, she is one of the most reserved people I know of
Mm-hmm.
on Twitch. But once you get to know her, she's honestly, you'll want to be best friends with her as soon as you get to know her. And that's why she is honestly one of my best friends, if not my best friend right now.
That's awesome. Hope
Yeah.
she says yes then.
Hopefully she does. If she doesn't, then you could blame me. But yeah,
Yeah. No pressure, no
I
pressure.
I hope she does. Another person that I would actually love to see on here is It's Bane Anna
Ooh,
or Anna.
okay.
Yeah, just because it's like, I've gotten to know her a lot,
Yeah.
and we have a running gag between me and her. We both call like, I'm sure you've noticed we both call each other Bae in chats. But that yeah, it's like an inside joke between us. Me and her are pretty close, so I would love to see her on as well. She's in my chat right now, probably hating me.
Alrighty, so that's it from me. That's all my questions. How are you feeling now that you got this out of the way?
Great, actually. Honestly, I can't wait to spend more time in your chat. I can't wait to meet more people from in here because this community is so sweet, so wholesome, so supportive, and yeah, like it's fucking amazing. I love it.
What are your plans after this?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, go with the flow.
Yes, that's what I always do at every stream. It most likely turns into Valorant, but yeah, I just go with the flow. If people want to play games, then I play games with them. If they don't, then they don't. And yeah, I'm just kind of there.
Okay, so from here, I'm just gonna close this off for the YouTube segment, and then after that, I'll let you go. Do your thing.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on.
Of course.
Big shout out to Wilson Chang, by the way. Wilson Chang for partner 2022, y'all. Let's get it.
Hey, look, Alyssa's here.
Hey, what's up, Alyssa?
Interesting. All right, all right.
Oh, good. She didn't hear it. Whew.
I'm sure she knows what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, she definitely does. I wouldn't doubt it. She's smart.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Chang Gang Podcast, episode 55, featuring GeelZ. GeelZ, thank you so much for being here. I hope you had a great experience. Do you have any last few words for everybody watching?
Y'all, you will not regret clicking that like and subscribe to Wilson Chang's channel, as well as subscribing to his Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Wilson Chang. Also follow him on all socials, Instagram, Chang Wilson. Please check him out, y'all. It's really fucking great.
Sheesh, you plugged me. What the heck? All right. Well, with that being said, guys, if you haven't already, also drop some follows onto GeelZ's social media platforms. Exclamation guest for that direct link to his Twitch channel. He's actually streaming right now at this moment. Please do keep in mind that this will be on YouTube within the next few days. So for those who are watching from the YouTube side of things, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I welcome you all to the Chang Gang with open arms. There will be an episode 56 coming shortly too, so stay tuned for that. Thank you, GeelZ. Much love and appreciation. Thank you, chat, for being here. Positive vibes. Until the next time.
Much
Peace.
love, bro. Much love. Peace out.